One. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Casey is back with me again, and we are going to continue on our adventures in AI, though this may be an adventure in AI and an adventure in Azure as we carry on. So, the basic premise of this is I've got a lot of YouTube videos. I've said a lot of things in YouTube videos. We would like a bot that uses that to answer questions, hopefully, one to replace me. So, the goal of this is to legitimately work myself out of a job. So, with that, Casey, welcome.
Hello. It's been a while.
It has been a hot minute between me moving and stuff happening. We have not been able to work on this in a bit.
Yeah,
So
it has been a little while. It's good to be back. Should be some fun. I'm glad you gave a little bit of a recap, though, to be honest, I don't exactly remember where we were last time. Um, what is
that
your recollection?
so here's what I think I know, and then you can correct me. So
Alrighty.
we had originally started building our own web API, right? Which was this KabuBot API stuff, right? It had an ingest and all of that kind of thing, which was
Yes.
fine, whatever, right? And then we discovered that kernel memory is awesome.
Even more
Absolutely
awesome than I remembered.
correct. So kernel memory was the new hotness. We like the new hotness. And the new hotness let us write this lib project instead, where we just reference kernel memory.
Yes.
And just to make things interesting, I revved this version like 15 minutes ago. So
Oh,
if
cool.
that if
That's
that
even better.
yeah, because I was worried that we might be out of date or missing anything, so I just got all the latest things for
Awesome.
reasons. Um, we've got a development JSON, which is the one we can show on stream, and we've got a production one, which I will not be opening up on stream because yeah, it has production-y things in it. But
Yes.
what this allowed us to note is that there it is. The kernel memory has a wonderful setting where you can just write your own DLLs and then plug them in, which was kind of cool. Because if I
Yeah.
search here for KabuBot, right, on the partition step, we plugged in our own SRT Markdown partitioner because my Markdown files are all SRT, which is a subtitle format. Right, so
That's right. Yep.
we wrote this little sucker and built it out, and he wasn't too bad to do because we had kind of written this code in the other app already, right? So
Yeah,
he
that's right.
pulls down and he does all the segmenting bits for us, which was really the only interesting part of this bot. Is we wanted, because we know something about the input files, we didn't want just the generic partitioner. We wanted something that was a little more purpose built for me because
Yes.
I gen these in a somewhat well defined.
It's formatted at least.
Yeah, it mildly resembles a format. So we did that. We had to do some SHA calculating stuff, but then the problem came because then we're like, what we need to do is we need to run this in a pipeline. That would be, and by
Yes.
pipeline I mean GitHub Action. So what we did is we wrote this little ingest CLI app, right? So this thing took a file name, an API key, and an ingest endpoint, right? We did up all of this stuff. And then if we go and look at, let's see, ingest markdown.yaml, we wrote this little GitHub action, which is just doing a .NET run on our project, our little ingest guy, because reasons, right? Passes in the file name so we can feed it an individual file from my repository. And because it's already checked out the repository, it has all the files on disk, which is great. Right, so that comes in, we feed it an API key and an endpoint, and we're off to the races. And we gen the secrets already in GitHub. Because if I go
Yes.
here, we've got this guy going. Right? And as I recall, the problem that we ran into initially is we were like, let's just send it. But then we realized that's kind of a lot of data.
It's a bit of data, yeah.
And we would kind of like to horizontally scale because I think we were just blowing through, if I remember right.
We were hitting the max on your
Yeah, it was like
RPS.
yeah, because we've got a little we've got a little container app here called MyBot, which is not a great name. And once Azure loads up, right? So he's not huge, but we were figuring what we wanted to do was actually scale.
Yep.
And so the way to do that was going to be, and again, I'm shooting from memory, so keep me honest. If I look here and I look at my diff, right? We were looking, and I think this is where we were running into a bit of issue. I'll make this a little bigger. I don't know why I did that. Don't do side by side. Inline view, right? So rather than doing simple queues, which I think is just an in-memory queue or something of that nature, right? We were going to do an Azure queue, which then meant we needed a queue, but then we also then need to stand up an Azure queue.
Yeah.
Right?
I do remember this, yes.
So, and I think that's where we got to. And then we went.
I think you're right.
Oy vey.
What was it? 1, 2 o'clock in the morning at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
On the note of late night hours, if you have not tried the white Freedom Fusion Mountain Dew,
I have not.
Is
it pretty good?
It is. Well, the description is with a blast of lemonade and peach flavor. So if you like the spark and you like peach, it is. Mwah.
Yeah,
like,
that sounds so
I
good.
like peach lemonade, so
yep, same.
It is very good, but you do have to be. If you don't like peach or lemonade, it's probably not your cup of tea.
So what's the pink lemonade or the raspberry lemonade one they have?
That's Spark, I believe.
Okay, that's Spark. Yeah.
But it doesn't have the peach
cousin
flavor.
Of that. Yeah, I'm into the peach. That sounds good.
Yeah. So wonderful. Available at your local Walmart in our lovely town, in case you were wondering.
Yes, I will have to grab some.
Okay, so we've got this guy. I am also noticing. This isn't even valid JSON. So we're gonna just go fix that real quick because I would like this to be valid JSON. Like, for example, that should probably be like that. Is kind of my thinking. Okay, should we go try to spin up an Azure queue?
Oh, wait, go back real quick.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. I thought I saw an extra double quote. You're good.
Yeah. I killed it when I put in the comma. If we go kernel memory. I want to know how Teams somehow manages to dodge OBS. Very clever, because it really just annoys me. So for anybody following along at home, here is the wonderful happy mode things.
Yep.
Microsoft kernel memory. But we wanted to look at, because they're examples, if I remember right, unless
they didn't have docs, examples.
Yeah.
From what I remember, nor docs for that matter.
Yeah, because I think when we went looking in here before, this looks like more than what was there.
No, the partitioning they did good. It's when you go to the queue stuff. Yeah. Or serverless, or not serverless service. I think is where they have the
architecture, which is kind of nice. They give us at least, because I remember this.
They break down the pieces. Yep.
Default pipeline, blah blah blah, and then we get into here, and we get documentation under development, and I think this is the part where we were then running blind and poking through their source code to find our way into happiness.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Bleeding Edge is the name of the game.
That it is.
Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to go into my resource group, and I'm going to make this a little bigger. Because we have a whole bunch of stuff. Now, can I get away with a storage account queue? Is that...
I would assume when they support Azure queues, I would assume that you can get away with a storage account queue.
And I assume I have to make it. So let's go back here and let's do... I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do that. Because I assume, if I'm reading this right, it wants a poison queue to put things in.
Mm-hmm.
So for people unfamiliar with it, the idea with in kind of basic queuing ideas, you have a queue of items to process. If an item fails, oftentimes there is like re-queue it and try it again in a minute. But if you get a bad item in your queue, you don't want it just constantly retrying. So after some number of failures, it usually gets thrown somewhere else, commonly called a poison queue of, yeah, I don't know. This thing tastes like poison, so let's not keep drinking it type situation.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think what we wanted to do is we wanted to give our bot an identity.
Yep.
Oh, I already have a system assigned identity. Well, I kind of want to rename it.
Yeah, this is the other thing. We had KebuBot, had to redo it into my bot, and we haven't gone back because we were avoiding that time sync.
Yeah. Screw it. We're gonna leave it.
We'll get it. We'll get it when we terraform this out.
Yeah. The problem is the further we get, the less likely that becomes.
I know.
Okay, so we're gonna add a role assignment, and I'm gonna just move this off my screen for a moment because I don't. Let's see. I'm gonna just 1 second to get the appropriate thing set up because I've got a lot more in my account than just this. Okay, so okay, and we're back. Okay, so role this guy. So for reference, the member on this role assignment is going to be just the system assigned managed identity.
Yep.
And then I assume this is going to be like Q contributor.
Yeah.
I assume so.
Well, you could probably get away with just processor and sender, but yeah, I mean, Q should be fine, or Q
I heard
contributor should be
contributor
fine.
sounds great.
Yep. Easy mode, right?
Easy. Well, this is one of those areas where docs would be real handy to know what it needs.
Yeah.
Okay. So that guy lives there. Okay. So in theory, this guy can now reach across and grab him. Yeah. Oh, and for those people, the one thing I skimmed over, we wrote this library, which is just a go away, which is just a .NET library. But the thing that we're deploying is this Docker image. So it pulls a Ubuntu Jammy image that already has the .NET SDK for building. Switches, grabs the, which one were we using for runtime? We were grabbing the kernel memory image,
Service,
which comes pre-bundled with their service in there, and we were just extracting out our published artifacts from our .NET publish here, shoving them in along with our config, and calling it a day. So, easy mode.
Easy mode.
Well, it's easy when I can talk through it.
Mode.
Yeah, it's easy being able to talk through it. I think that was like an hour of stream number 2, if I remember.
Yeah, that
right.
it was quite a bit of digging from what I remember.
Yeah, so it's easy once you know the incantation, and once they document the incantation, it'll be even better.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this. We got this. Should I just move this over to the production one and send it? Is there anything else we want to do with this?
I think right now, until we can get our scaling set up, I think we're good with this. Okay. Because once we can scale, we can benchmark, and once we can benchmark, we can adjust settings for efficiency and quality.
Oh, sorry. I got my production JSON file open on monitor B, not monitor A, because that would be a bad place for it.
That would be.
Let's see here, and this goes underneath data ingestion, and it goes underneath queue type. Queue type changes to Azure queues. And then we have an Azure queue section, and I think, yep, that's the sum total of the changes. Okay. Now we are not checking in our production.json. I am going to check this in just so we have a reference point. Attempting to enable queues, change, push for those who want to play along at home. And then let's go and grab. I need my README because this is what I would like. And then give me just 1 second because I don't think. I'm pretty confident I'm logged in with the wrong account on Azure at the moment.
Yeah.
So I just need a
Quick swap.
A hot second to yeah, for those people who aren't familiar with it, AZ login -- use device code, especially if you've got multiple accounts shared on a browser session, is like gold.
It is.
Because it makes it really easy to just like pick the account that you want and the tenant you want, and there's no thinking involved. Okay, sorry. Azure is thinking about auth and what it wants to do, and I would like to be on. Yeah, see, it was wrong. I wanted to be on 2. Okay. Clear that out. There. Now we can grab from the README. I should be able to then AZ HCR login. Login successful. And then I don't know what our version number is that we've pushed last, so I need to go. We need to go take a quick detour and go look at our ACR and see what was the last thing pushed. Repositories, Kabubot.
Wait, didn't we always push a latest? No, we didn't push.
Well,
our latest is our one. Yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah, we were pushing blind latest, but I think we wanted to do versioning on it.
Versioning, yeah.
So send it. See, this is what happens when you're not in the right directory. This doesn't work.
I think yeah.
So
yeah.
Hang on, where did I put this?
I think the other thing is we found that you couldn't double tag on a build. You could only double tag on a push. So we had to choose between versioning or latest, or we'd have to do 2 commands. I think that's why we ended up in that state.
That could be.
Because at first we were just latest, and then we were going to do both, and found that we couldn't with build.
Let's see. The registry keys. So hold on. System cannot find the file specified.
LS. Production. It's looking for the DLL, right?
Well, I don't know. Air resolve create file.
Let's go to the Docker file. CSproj source lib, because we copy where we're at into source, make the lib our working directory, grab the CSproj. That should be fine. And then we switch to the app directory.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where in this path we are. Let's back some of this stuff off here real quick. Let's just Docker build. Okay. Hang on.
Where?
System cannot find the file specified. Which file, darn it? I feel
Well,
like it's wanting this, but
can you put the Docker file and your terminal side by side, real quick? I know I'm asking a lot. I'm sorry.
I it took me a moment to actually like hear your words and oh, hold up.
We're
Wait a
missing.
minute. Wait a minute. Am I at the wrong level?
I
Because
think
yeah,
you're either at the wrong level
I'm at the
or
wrong level because hold on. This command here expects that I am a level above the yeah, it expects to be oh, so okay, so I'm an idiot. I'm just down a level. So this command expects to be run
yeah,
higher here because it wants current directory kabulib docker file. So
yeah,
the file it can't
yeah.
find is docker file. Okay, see, I just
Well,
uh,
do me a favor once you do that. ls that folder.
these commands should be run from the directory above this project's directory. I think originally I had this in the directory above, and then we moved it down, and I didn't address that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you wanted me to ls on which folder?
ls the folder you're in that you're running the Docker command in.
It's this one.
Yep. Interesting. Just up a file or up a folder.
Yeah. So I recently updated my whole Docker thing, so I'm guessing just looking at this, we are now being forced to download
The whole 9.
well, yeah, all of the layers.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. There we go. .NET build, and it should just work. I still have very mixed opinions about doing the builds inside of a container. Like on one hand, it makes them nice and easily reproducible.
Yeah.
Like which I kind of get, but it can also be a major pain in the neck. Right? Like I don't know. It yeah, I get the appeal. It's just sometimes the pain of them
Yeah.
is not worth the effort.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on it either.
So okay, so it is 1 second ago. It spun up images and built
Great.
them. So I now have this. So apparently I hadn't cleared out all my images because I guess I could have looked here to see what my things were. So about a month ago,
Yep.
we did
We
this.
released 3.
So, and now we have 4. Okay, so 4 is now out. So now we want to go back here. We want to go. I will say, getting all this Azure stuff up and running makes me feel like this cool, like I can do stuff. Pain in the butt
Yeah.
to get it working, but once it the stuff clicks, it's so nice, so absolutely nice.
Once you get 5 Azure resources deployed, you feel like I'm running a whole system, like the mainframe is online, like try to stop me. I know what you mean.
I like the mainframe is online.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
You
can
know
I
it.
just come in here and change image tag to 4? Save. Yeah, because I think this memory and CPU limit is what we were bumping into
Yeah.
before. But we'll allow scale from 0, scale up to 10, create. All right, so we'll let this guy rock and roll. Hey, Izzy. I feel like the
Hey yo.
white rabbit this AM. I wish you had said that like 10 minutes ago when I was talking about my white Mountain Dew. It would have been really cool. The timing would have been impeccable.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. We should have done it on 9-1. That way there would have been so much nice symmetry there.
Yep. Wow. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to see this thing actually come up. Or is it going to... I don't know if it's actually going to fire all the way up now that I think about it.
It shouldn't, because we aren't hitting it.
Yeah, something tells me it still tries to go for start and then scales down. Okay.
Reason error. And container app controller. Persistent failure to start.
Startup probe failed. Connection
back
refused.
off. Oof. Gotta love that.
Well, that's what I was wondering, is if we were going to run into this. So, what I do not like, this X in the corner is what I want to click on.
Yeah.
Failed. View details. So let's go with console output, I think. Go to revision management. View details. Console log. Okay. You are not helping me. I want the console output for this.
This just makes me feel like I'm back in Kubernetes.
Okay, so let's go here. And then I think if we go
containers,
I thought I could get it here. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Successfully connected. Blah, blah, blah. What's the exception? There's clearly an exception here. It just doesn't want to tell me what it is. Is that too much to ask? So here's the problem. I changed two things, not one thing. Like a moron.
It's something we all do. Let's be real. Everybody does it. Any developer says that they don't. I
only change one thing at a time. Though I will say this. Add Azure Queues orchestration. This strongly implies which of the two things I changed that broke us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with...
I would tend to agree.
Our add Azure Queues orchestration is what is causing us to fail.
I'm wondering if what we're missing is a package.
I am wondering if we are missing config. Sorry, I want to look at this sucker. Because this is clearly... Like, we invoked this method. Right?
Mm-hmm. And that's,
or I should say, it invoked this method for me.
Let me really quickly just point to this.
Okay.
Just before you go too far.
Before I
look at the folder structure here on your left. Notice that under extensions, you have this magical thing called Azure OpenAI. And we have pulled in that DLL, or that library, that package. I think there might be a missing package.
I don't like saying you're right, but I can't say you're wrong either, so we're going to try it. Because your way is probably going to be a lot less searching than my way.
If it's right, it'll be much quicker. If it's wrong, it'll take very little time to know it's wrong.
I like your answer, Izzy. Change one thing per commit, but always 100 commits per build. Oh, hold on. Are you thinking that hypothetically this kernel memory orchestration Azure Queues might be what we need?
It could be. I'm not 100% sure, but it does seem like it might be a thing. Also, if you look there under the description, to run asynchronous pipelines via Azure Queue Storage Queues. So we're good.
Fine. I will add it. Save it. I will make sure that this thing exists. We'll build.
Kevin, I don't actually understand anything. I just recognize patterns. So when I see DLL with pattern and I see that under another pattern, I would have gotten
there eventually.
Like, I mean, yeah, you would have. You 100% would have.
I just probably would have taken about 45 minutes longer than you just did.
I don't know about that long. I think we would have figured it out quicker than that. But I'm glad that it was this simple.
We don't know that it's that simple yet. Do not jinx us,
Hey,
you
hey, hey,
jerk.
hey. If I guessed what we
Version
were
5.
missing, if I guessed what we were missing, I think we're good. Knock on wood.
You are asking for it. You are just absolutely asking for
Oh,
it.
absolutely. I do all the time. It's a personality fault or flaw. What can I say?
I will say, once we get this built, it does feel like something that I want to package up in like a template.
Yeah.
Like I want a solution level template with the Terraform and everything, because I feel like this pattern with some of this architecture stuff is exactly what I want in so many cases. So we might have to do that. Okay, back off, back them.
Yeah.
Okay, revisions and replicas. How do I kill off this revision?
That
I don't know if I can. I think you just roll a
I
new
think you
one.
go well, go to choose revision mode.
Well, this is whether you want to do like the
Oh.
rolling stuff or not. We'll just go back and I'll just create new revision.
I'm surprised you can't kill a
I don't doubt there's ways to do it, but
yeah.
come on, load the stuff. Find version 5. Thank you very much. Go, go, go. Oh, you have to hit the create button. It was behind your head. Yeah, so let's see. Thinking, thinking, thinking. Successfully deployed. Yeah, I think what will happen is once we get a successful, deprovisioning. So once we get a successful one, I believe it will blue-green deploy all the way out. I need coffee. Don't worry, Izzy. Just to catch you up, we are back working on the AI bot stuff that we were doing before, and at present, what we want to do is be able to feed in my huge swath of Markdown files and have it scale out so that it doesn't take 8 years to run, and instead is more like 8 minutes or 8 seconds.
Depends on how many of the replicas we allow.
All of them. All of them.
Every single one.
Let's
Well,
see,
and I guess how many tokens we allocate to the quota.
Yeah, because I think that's where we're gonna just. I wish that thing wouldn't do that. Okay, I go here. I go console log stream here. 8 years isn't that long. Okay, I'm gonna go with we still crashing.
I didn't knock on wood enough.
You did not. At some point we should really have this thing. Replica my bot. Da, da, da. We should just double check. I just want to confirm that this one that I'm looking at.
What's
So
the
this
5 UK? Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Where do I see my information about the image that it's pointed at?
Well, you selected 5.
I did select 5. I just want to confirm that that is in fact what I'm getting. Actually, the other thing I'd like to look at real quick is just to confirm. So 5 with no code changes is slightly bigger than 4. So makes me feel better.
There's something new there.
Yeah, there was something added. About a meg worth of something. So I'm gonna go with about 1 DLL worth, give or take.
Roughly, yeah.
Sounds like my Yocto build, but I bet it's cheaper for you to scale out. Yeah, container apps done well could be dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It all depends on usage metrics, but for something that's going to be an infrequent thing, container apps scale from 0, so they can be real cheap when you can scale down to 0. So that they have that advantage going for them. Okay, so the question though is we aren't getting a great air out of here. All we know is something about the queue orchestration. Let's see I want to get a copy of this whole log before I lose it. Oh, look,
Yeah.
copy. I don't know. Code. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna move that because I don't know what is on my thing. Oh, this is okay. This is just Velopack stuff. Okay, we're good. We're good. Nothing sensitive. Okay, so invoke with a few args. I like that name. Call site visitor. So we came in, Q factory build, get service, and this add Azure Queues orchestration is what is firing, and it's a Q factory method. And just from this G double underscore, I can tell you that's a Lambda inside of a method. So I want to go find this method. And I think that was the one I was looking at. See, I will get to have my fun. Ha! Let's see. So kernel memory, dependency injection, add here. I'm going to go, this is probably it. And then I'm going to go with, we might be hitting this line here. It's
unable to instantiate.
It's interesting that they throw this exception, because if they called just get required service instead, it would throw. Obviously,
by itself,
obviously it wouldn't be a kernel memory exception, but it would be something. Let me see here. I want to look at what it is, because we know we went inside of get service, and this is call site visitor, which means we're actually throwing before we get back outside of get service. So we're calling into here, and get service itself is throwing. So, which means Azure Queues pipeline is throwing probably an initializer
missing,
or, well, I don't know if it's missing, because if you got to this
missing config.
Yeah, missing config or missing something similar. It is flagged as experimental. Let's see. Using Docker for my OS build, app build, testing, deployment. My only problem is the OS build that bloats to 3 terabytes of storage. I've been writing automated cleanup and external volumes to virtual disks. Oy vey. 3 terabytes. Izzy, I do not envy you. Closest thing I've got is an image that we do that runs tests with a whole bunch of video files. And that's big, but it's more like,
not 3 terabytes.
Yeah, it's not 3 terabytes.
Dear God.
No, that's a ye big.
That's a big boy.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay, so how did we configure our auth, I guess, is the first question. Because I'm going to go with, we could have just hit this and blown up. And that would definitely cause a DI exception. So config.auth. So if we go look at ours, what did we do?
Or did we do anything?
Oh, details. The answer is we probably just didn't do anything. Well, I don't see auth in here anywhere. Well, let me look. Are we supposed to do it down here? As your blobs.
Keep going. Queues.
Azure identity. Okay.
Wait a second. Hold on. Go up to where we've got. Look for Azure Queues.
This thing here, where we add, because we added this block. This block was not here.
Yeah.
Right. So
we just need to take those pieces in there and replace.
Well, but I don't know if.
Well, and move the pieces that are missing from this up to this, because it's the same one. It's got the poison queue, the queue name, poll. Oh no,
it is a little different.
But it does have this. It does have the poison queue suffix. It does have
that. Endpoint suffix. So I'm thinking so let's look at this real quick. I'm willing to bet it needs either an account or a connection string. Let's see. So we were doing Azure Identity, right? Validate, and it would do validate account name, and we have specified no account. So it would have no idea where it is. So we need to at least specify account. Let's see. Endpoint suffix. And then I think endpoint suffix would be fine. Okay, so at minimum, okay. this is, go here,
Mhm.
go here. So obviously it's KaboobBot because that is the only thing I
Always Kaboobot.
know how to put in, and I'm going to do that while I'm thinking about it. Right now in the prod one, that's the one that matters. All of those settings between prod and dev match. So that's good. Them all in sync. I wonder if that's all we need to do. Yeah, screw it, send it.
Fetch batch size. Max retries before poison queue. Did we set a max retries before poison queue? Actually, what are the no? Do we have a way to see
That's
defaults on that? We should.
retries before poison queue. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, let's go look at the defaults on those. I'm curious.
so if we go this guy here,
Yeah.
this is going to be your Poco. Let's see here. Max retries before. So this
Okay.
config is basically matching.
Their default is the same.
So
Yeah.
the fact that we're setting them is like, whatever.
Now, but what's interesting is if you also go back to our config, though I don't think it matters. I think we have the wrong names there.
There's your queues.
No, the queue pull delay milliseconds, queue fetch batch size.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm wondering if it's gonna read from that other one. Like, I wonder if we need this block.
Yeah.
That block, because we added that block, right? This block was not here.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm thinking that
The thing is, where would the
that
queue
the
name?
distribution
The queue name would have to come from. Let's see, we have queue name down here.
No, and I bet you what it is that this is where you end up doing like the account level stuff, and the other one is so you can specify different queues per. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not sure on that. The other piece of it is our config for partitioning or the
Yeah, I mean,
the overall
we
service.
can look at, like, because here's the queue name. Where do you get assigned? Here. Right? So connect to queue name. Who calls you? Pipeline orchestrator. Like, this is where I suspect step name. Like, I have a strange feeling we're gonna. Well, we're gonna send this guy real quick, and
we've got both pieces anyways, and you added it to the second one, the one we didn't add.
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
I added the account name.
Yeah.
So it should at least know about the account name. So we come in here. Right? We rinse, repeat. We go from 5 to 6. And remind me at some point to go clean up my ACR.
Remind me to tell you that we need to push latest, and it should cycle itself. Yes. Does it cycle itself? If the image changes out from under it?
It will cycle on the next image pull. The question is when that will be, right? Because if you're doing like a container app job, I think it image pulls when the job triggers. It's not gonna know, because container apps are like this. Picture this as a moron's view into Kubernetes.
Yeah.
This is
it's Kubernetes without all the extra crap you have to worry about yourself. It's Kubernetes as a service.
Correct. Yes. And which is why when you look at like the system logs, it looks a heck of a lot like Kubernetes, because guess what?
Yeah.
It may or may not be Kubernetes.
But you can set up your Kubernetes images to auto cycle.
Right. But I don't know what visibility we have.
They're doing behind the scenes. Yeah.
Where was the? Yeah. Can't read this.
This was our worst. This is the worst part of this, is that we can never find the logs
for when I can't remember, you click on the name and then the console log stream. You do not click on the view details
or show
and hit
replicas.
the console log stream. Right? Oh, Casey.
Huzzah. Victory.
Kubernetes Web API.
8 asynchronous pipeline handlers. Look at that.
Look at that.
It even knows.
Oh, look at that gorgeous, gorgeous pipeline. Okay, what I heard is send it all, make it pay.
Yeah.
Do we
let's
hold on?
do
Do
it.
we want to clear the database at all before we get too carried away?
Might as well.
Thank
PG
you.
admin. You never remember, anyways. I know.
I remember the logo. I'm like, what's the elephant?
It's a
What is
great
the
logo.
elephant?
The elephant.
I need the elephant.
Yep.
I should look
Again,
and see.
you're gonna become a big Postgres fan. It's gonna be your favorite database. I'm telling you.
Something I was gonna show you. Fine.
Ooh.
I had a fun adventure today. There was.
Ooh.
So the wildlife at my house is way too friendly.
Oh, that's so
I took
fun.
a selfie with the baby bird.
That's so cute.
Because
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. We think
Heck
it's
yeah.
a baby finch. So
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So,
I love being close enough to nature
right.
that
When you can take that kind of
see
picture
and do stuff like
take
that.
that kind of picture without your zoom. It's like,
Yeah.
hi.
But also not be like 2 hours away from where you work.
Right. I'm only 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, the elephant is finally connecting. I think. While the database wakes up. Please enter the password for username. What? Casey?
Amend? What did you do?
That is not how you spell admin.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
No problem. I'm going to reconnect. I think it has just lost its mind. Let's try this again. What the heck? Okay. Okay. Let's go back. We'll go look at the database. You. And then you go away. And then just gonna drag this off screen before I hit the connection string thingy-mabobber. That sounds like a good idea. Let's see here. Admin. Yeah, Izzy, that's the thing is I had Wi-Fi when I took those pictures. It was wonderful. I had Wi-Fi. I was within like 15 feet of Mountain Dew. It's been glorious. We have a bunch of white-tailed deer around where I'm at as well. They always seem to look at me like I'm the intruder, which I probably am. I did take some trash out earlier, and they were very much not okay with me. Let's see. Properties. So, provide a name for the connection. So, Casey, that is apparently misspelling admin is normal. I'm guessing we followed these.
Mint? What the? Oh.
So this is what we had done. Well, no.
What the?
On your computer.
At a mind.
I'm kind of wondering what happened. I'm wondering because the last time. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just go through this real quick. Remove server. Yeah, because I think last time we did this, I was. Let's see. Register server. Name. Fill in the following details. Name. Kaboobot, because that is the only name. Colors are clearly important. Let's see, the connection tab, host name, address, and it will be. I'm guessing whatever it saved must have like maybe been related to my location because I have definitely changed locations. Let's see, maintenance database, leave the default. Enter the username, misspelled admin. Okay, password. Click on the save password checkbox if you want to be preserved. Let's see here. It doesn't actually say to enter the password, so okay, let's. I am assuming it is going connection to. Oh, I know what's going on, Casey. I'm an idiot.
Wait, what's going on?
I'm an idiot. $20. I changed locations.
And your IP address. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with
that would track.
I'm gonna go with this. Add current IP address. No one be mean to me, please. Okay. Note to self: change IP addresses after this. Update. I am willing to bet when I moved, I changed my external facing IP, and I've been firewalled myself out into oblivion. Your unsafe changes. Then save the bloody changes. Why is this hard? So pro tip, when you move, update your firewall settings. That was something that was not on my list, my moving checklist.
You know, that's a failure to plan, sir.
Let's try this. This not save. Can't tell if it's saving or not.
I don't think it is. Go to general.
Save. Okay. Changes will be lost. Or you want to close the dialogue? No, I'm not sure. I would like you to save. I don't like. We are not communicating here. Save.
Close it and try again.
Life
is pain, sir. Life is pain.
Izzy, believe me, a static IP would be wonderful.
Oh, if only we could get one.
I used to have one a long time ago.
Did you? That's
unable to connect. No password supplied.
No password.
Of course, I didn't supply a password.
You need a password.
Well, sounds like something I do on this screen over here without showing it. I
would agree.
Where does one set the password? Server parameters? I do like that if I had paid attention, looked at the very first green check marks. Firewall rules are enabled. Clearly.
You don't say.
Authentication. Let's see here. Oh, and there I can reset the password. Got it. Okay. That looks good. There's not a max length on this password field, is it?
I don't
There
think
is.
so.
You cannot exceed 128 characters. Stand by.
How many characters do you usually use? What's your default setting for password generation?
A little
sir?
big. A little. Let's put it this way. Brute force, my passwords will not be done. At least not.
Yeah,
not
you get past that at like 64.
Shh.
We don't need 4 heat deaths of the universe worth of password. We need 1 heat death of the universe worth of password, sir.
Yes, but mine was very, very good.
See, here's the thing.
I dialed it down to 64 for you. Just
Hallelujah.
for you, only 64 characters worth of password.
I mean, it's
For
just
reference, under the
it
authentication
just seems
tab,
excessive.
you can do your admin reset password for anyone who cares.
Oh, it's nice
So,
at least.
and that appears to have connected. So, okay. Where
Huzzah.
weren't we? Small detour. Small detour. 5 random words with numbers
Your
and punctuation
database.
between them. Yeah, Izzy, I actually gave a talk to, we'll say, senior citizens recently on basic internet security, and that was actually the thing that I advocated for them is make your passwords a sentence. Just pick a phrase. Like, it's so much easier to remember than anything else because, like, length over complexity. Let's see here. So,
Yeah.
where were we? Count rows, right? 68 rows.
And once we have quantum computers, it doesn't matter. So
What was the view all rows? Yeah. If I remember right, this is where I get the big ugly. Yeah. So this is what we were going to clear out, right?
Yep.
Let's see.
There's a nice trash can button there. If you go back, hit the top. Nope, to the right on the table.
This one. The one that's disabled.
Yeah, you gotta hit the top.
Oh.
Like just like in Excel. Yep. There you go. It's just
And
like
then,
Excel. And then you do the little save button. That's right next to the database button.
Save button.
To the right too. Oh, actually, yeah. The other one must be saved to your saved to a file.
At some point, I should give you control that way you can look at it rather than seeing me do it. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fun.
Yeah, yelling, "What are you doing, you bloody moron!"
See, it's fun for me because I get to say those things. If it was flopped, you'd be doing the same thing to me, and I don't want to be on that side of this. So I'm gonna stay on this side of the equation where I get to be the come on, man, you got this.
Okay, so we hit run workflow. And then were we going to feed it a single markdown file? I'm trying to remember the name of our little one. Because we had a...
Yeah, we had a good... Well, we didn't have a good name. We
had
a
a name.
It was another name shortened, which is confusing because there's other short names.
Details.
It's that
yes.
one, though. Yes.
If I hit run workflow...
Based on the 4 kilobytes, yes.
Boom. Send it. And then...
Shipping.
We are very close to having cool AI. And then all we have to do is, like, put a friendly face on it.
Yeah.
Which that'll be easy.
Depends on how crazy we get. I mean, of course, we can just put a CLI in front of it. Oh,
no.
CLIs,
We do WPF here, Casey. With material design, it'll be pretty. There'll be colors. There'll be animations. It needs to resemble me.
How dynamic can you get with animations in WPF?
I mean, I've got access to Lottie, so...
yeah, that's right. We could do some cool stuff with that.
Response code does not indicate success. That's not a good sign.
404 not found.
What?
Did we have to change the name?
The
name of our session? Or our instance?
Bet you our endpoint changed when we changed our revision.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Let's see. Where the heck do you see your... They not show it in setup jobs? I thought they showed you... Well, hang on. We can see the run. Yeah, see this here? Yeah. I bet you that no bueno.
H3F. That's an oldie.
Yes.
Ye old gentle pebble.
Yeah, let's not do that one. Go here. Let's go here. Yeah, we want this guy. And then, because at some point what we'll want to do is we will want to...
We want more than that, though. Right?
Why?
Because if you go back, look at the...
Container apps.
MyBot --
Yeah.
HM. Go to the Azure. There's no revision specified in the front of that. revision
Oh,
specified.
do we want to hit a specific revision?
No revision specified. I think we have to, or I think that's what we were.
That's
we
what
were at least
I
doing
think that's what we
that.
were doing before. We were grabbing this one.
Yeah.
But we don't have to grab a specific.
If we can just hit the normal one, then yeah, that's gonna make our lives easier because we don't have to
Correct.
change
I
it.
like the easy option.
Yeah. I like that
I
too.
am much too lazy for that.
Again, I just see patterns. That's all I do here. I just see
Let's
patterns,
see.
sir.
And this was this guy here as a variable, and we go whing. We go update variable, and I go, yes, I would like to authenticate. And hold please while I two-factor the things.
Two-factor the auths.
My GitHub app. GitHub. It's interesting. I'm receiving text messages despite having no service. I don't really know how that works, but okay. 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 So there's that. There's that. We come back over here. We go actions. We go ingest markdown. We go run. We go that guy. Run workflow. Crap. Oh, I was wondering how long until I did that. Hold on.
What'd you
I
do?
just doxed myself.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Before anybody gets any crazy ideas, go and cycle the data.
Which one?
The server password. My firewall will block attempts on the way in, but you know, let's just not leave ourselves open to that. My thinking.
Wise.
Then I'm gonna have to come over here, and I'm gonna have to take PG admin, and I'm gonna have to do this maneuver. I'm getting real good at this though. Remove server, yes. And then we're gonna go through, and I will say there's been a number of times where I've had people actually message me directly and go, hey, you realize that this timestamp in your video you accidentally show, you know, X, Y, and Z? Which
That's
I was
nice.
like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Usually it's things that don't matter. It's like, yeah, should I have shown that? Probably not. Is it a big deal? Nah.
Better to know and be aware of it.
It's kind of like
very kind of the
yeah,
community.
well, and it's one of those. It's like if I was overly concerned about it, I would like oftentimes it's like resources I've already deleted or something. It's like, yeah. I exposed the password, but you know that server's not there anymore. So congratulations, you have a password.
Good luck.
You have a password to something that doesn't exist. Now we're just gonna clear my clipboard so I don't do that crap again. And yeah, okay.
It's the darn clipboard problem. It's the actually having a clipboard.
Yeah.
Instead of just a space and memory to save.
One of the things I would love is like I don't know how you do it in real time, but I want something that watches for those types of secrets and intentionally blurs them. I don't know how to do it at least not fast enough. Well, you'd have to catch it on like an OBS plugin on the way out.
I was gonna say, how fast does it need to be though? I mean, what's the difference of another 10-second delay?
That's true. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be real time.
You're already delayed. Yeah.
Yeah. It would probably have to be OBS, but the thing is you'd want it fast enough to where it hit every frame, and a lot of that video stuff, keyframes and similar. So it's like,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the good news is, like, we're going. So we kick the sucker off.
Let's go look
database?
at the. No, I was gonna say let's go look at the container app.
Okay.
See what that puppy's doing.
Let's see. This guy here. This guy here. You click the name. You hit console log stream. Let's see. DB error while attempting to create.
Failed putting back Failing to put back the message into the queue.
Are we?
Was a delay of 15,000 seconds.
Well, and so I am
15,000
mildly
something.
concerned. Password authentication failed for.
Edmund.
Oh, do we have a
We didn't
database
change the
password?
yeah.
Probably do.
Probably the same one you just reset.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna. That probably
Yeah.
didn't help anything.
That might be why it's failing.
That is very likely. Sorry, I'm going through our settings now. Let's see. In memory, data ingestion, services, embeddings, Postgres. Oh yeah, hey, look at that. There's a password right there. Boy, my old password was really short. It was only like 24 characters.
You mean it was sensible?
Yeah. I have a problem though.
Oh no. What? You don't have that password anymore. Yeah. Yeah, that tracks. That all tracks. Well, reset the password
I'm
again.
getting real good at this.
Open up a new tab so you don't have to go back.
No. Here's what you do. I go here, I go here, I go here, I go Bitward, and I go pop. And I actually save it this time rather than just throwing it away.
Wise.
So we're gonna put it into here, first of all. And then we are going to go, so we're gonna put that guy sitting there. And then we need to go here, and I need to go back over to my database. You just gotta love this kind of stuff. At our new place, we were putting up a new light fixture. And it was, admittedly, we had bought, we will call it a budget-friendly option. But the directions were basically missing. They amounted to install light, which shockingly, I kind of knew that before opening the instructions. I was hoping for slightly more clarity than that. And so I would start assembling it and put it up, and I think I was half tired, and I just kept getting things out of order. I think I put that thing up and took it down like 4 or 5 times. I was so annoyed with myself by the end of it. I was like, you get it up and you realize, crap, that other bolt needs to be in further. Pull it down, reset it. I'm like, word.
Yeah, that sounds about like my experience putting up. We got some of that like hang from the ceiling garage storage, and we only have one ladder, and my tape measure was broken. And you're also trying to like measure things on a ceiling. I don't have a laser, so I can't get like a perfectly straight line. So I'm just trying to like make multiple measurements to try to get a straight line off of the wall, perfectly 90. And I swear I drilled 9, 10 holes, put up 3 or 4 of the brackets, and then pulled them back down and repositioned them, put them back up. And it was like 4 hours of me putting up this thing that should have been like, if I had the right tools, 30 minutes. But God, it took forever.
Yeah. I feel your pain. Okay.
Yep.
So we have version 7 now published. So we're going to go.
Can we?
Because the problem is the connection.
We still won't cycle.
The connection string is in the config. So blame the wall. It wasn't straight. That's right, Victor. The wall was not straight. That is clearly.
You're sadly not wrong about that either, because you go into a house like a new build and you're like, oh, it's all going to be great. Things are not straight. People don't care. There's no true craftsman unless you're paying more than 3 or 4 arms and legs for anything.
You have 3 or 4 arms and legs?
And no, I don't. That's the problem. That's why I can't afford that house.
What I heard is you need to grow more arms and legs.
if there was a market for them, I'd find a way. Uh,
Okay, so this guy's now going. Do we need to worry about? I don't know if this thing's already connected, right? So if I can't remember if I lost the database connection, right? Okay, so hang on. This one I didn't update yet. Do we need to clear any database stuff? I guess it didn't have access to. It didn't have access.
Nothing would have made it in.
It didn't have access to the database, so it doesn't really matter.
And seemingly from that other message, deeper in that log, it didn't look like anything got put on the queue either. That would be the other place that we could check, is for messages or things in the queue, so we aren't double processing. But I don't think that's the
Just
case.
double checking all of my connection string bits, putting those in, save. I am once again clearing my thingamabobber. Okay, we're good. We are good. Okay, if I refresh this guy, that should be deprovisioned. That guy's down. Okay. So this
Also, really
we should
quickly,
cancel this workflow.
Yes, definitely cancel that. But also, if you wouldn't mind mirroring me on the stream, because the way my screens are currently set up, it keeps looking like I'm pointing away from you.
Oh,
And
got it. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. I think it'll make a little bit more sense instead of me looking off screen. Now it's only me.
There. How did that go? Are
I
you
don't
looking
know.
at me? I can't.
Nope. Wait. I can't tell anymore. No, I'm looking away from you.
Oh, hang on. Transform. There.
There we go. Now.
Is that better? Is that the right flip that you wanted?
No, I don't know. I can't tell anymore. The delay is too much for me to know when I'm doing anything.
Okay. On that note, I'm gonna hit adjust markdown, and if you want to have me change you, let me know. Boom. Okay. This time you'll note I did not dox myself, which is it's even better.
Huzzah.
Okay.
Okay. No, I'm flipped correctly now.
Good. Because I can keep clicking the flip horizontal button, but every other click kind of just puts you back where you were. Remind me to get you a ring light. We'll make your face all purty.
I had a light. I swear. And now it works again. And now give it like.
Hold up. That
couple seconds, it'll turn itself off.
That went.
It's just no happy.
That went way too fast. Waiting for completion and then it just done?
We'll go to the database. There's only one way to know for sure, and it's the database.
Wow. It really did process that. So it went through the queue and did all the stuff, right? Because I think this is what we saw with our little file before, is that it...
Yeah. It's really small.
It's real small. So, okay. Let's do... Let me double check. But I think what we had set this thing up for before was if I don't specify a file name, it rips all of them.
Yep. That's what I recall as well.
File name. If file name is not null or white space, do process, otherwise rip them all. What do you say? Full send? Full send?
Full send. We were born to full send, my friend.
That's right. Dear Azure, I would like you to process everything.
Run it all.
Let's see. I cannot understand what to do with an IPYNP file. Are you supposed to clone into Google Colab and then start a Jupyter Notebook from the browser? Supposed to make a VM and run in VS Code, or what is the best practice to work with those? So I believe IPYNB files are the standard Jupyter Notebook file format. Let me just.
That's correct. That is correct.
Casey, you might know better than me, but my recommendation would be to grab the what is it? The what is it? Was it interactive?
Yeah.
I thought it got renamed though. That's
Jupyter. That's what I have always used.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Soko one, I think depending on how you want to go through and run it, there are lots of ways to do it. But if you have that file locally on your computer, VS Code with the extension is probably the easiest option.
I would say that you're right in general. I mean, you always have the option of running like a dev container and running inside of that dev container in VS Code. That's a little bit safer. I mean, if it's a file that you know where it's coming from, you trust the source, that's one thing. If it's a random notebook that somebody told you to run on Reddit, like that's a different thing.
That is a good point. Yeah.
It really depends on that. But all in all, if you're trying to run it locally, whether it be safely in a container or not, that's how I would run it, is in the Jupyter plugin.
That's a good call out. Is
Code.
Treat it like you would any other software program that you've gotten. If you got it from a trusted source, you're probably okay. If it's a random thing off Reddit, maybe don't.
You're probably fine still anyways, but I'm not going to tell you to run something and then, you disappear from the stream because you've forked your computer.
That's a good point.
I don't want to be that guy.
Okay, so this one, ingesting file. So this thing has waiting for completion on here. I think I'm going to let it keep going, but
I would say what we should do is go hit the container apps. Let's see if it's scaled. Is it actually horizontal? Or is it just dumb and running only one?
I want to be horizontal. Oh, Polyglot Notebooks. That's the one. Thank you, Rollers. Hang on.
Polyglot.
Sorry, this is the one that used to be called. Remember they renamed it. That's not it.
1L. Yeah, 1L.
This one here. Yeah, this is what used to be Microsoft .NET Interactive. They renamed it.
Yeah.
So
and it's because you get the other language support.
Yeah. If you're just doing a regular Jupyter Notebook, fair. You do not need this. This, though, brings in a lot of extra things beyond just Jupyter stuff. It allows you to kind of go between C# and SQL and mix and match and do some really cool stuff. So this is like, you saw that I had the Jupyter extension installed. I actually installed this, and the Jupyter one's a dependency. So,
That's right. Yeah.
Sure, there's a container for that.
I just never run C# in a notebook. What can I say? I never got into the C# interactive, I don't know, on that train.
So we only have one, but I think part of the reason we only have one is because our ingestion application waits for, we have this, right?
It's complete.
So it's sitting there pulling the upload status before it fires the next one off. It has no reason to scale.
That's right. I forgot that we had that in place.
So I think what we might want to do, like you want to fire I think the issue is the way we've structured this is we want to fire them all off and then wait for all of them at the end, right? Like, 'cause what
Yeah.
I really want back is this index and document ID to add to a list and then send that.
Well, so
Because then I can say wait, because I can query all of these and say give me the status of them, and then wait for them all to be complete.
this probably comes from not having done a lot of this, but
See, now we're chugging. Like we are going. And I think we did this last time because when we sent all of it, we just blew through our memory.
yeah,
And this was poor man's way of saying, let's not blow through everything.
and this is actually on,
But this is what's good.
but shouldn't we still see more than one um, container or replica?
I don't know why it would scale up. It's only getting one request at a time. It's only being asked to process one document at a time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're only sending one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I forgot the way that we have this structured. We're sending the request in
Yeah. So
through this as opposed to through the
let's do
action
string
itself.
index
Yep.
string document ID, right? Like let's do
Yeah.
this. And if we go here, and let's make it nullable so that we can do return null here, right? And then we can come down here, and I think if we get this far, this changes rather than deleting this, I'm gonna just do this maneuver.
Oh, it's smart.
That way I can keep it around, right? And then we'll do something more like console write line queued document. Where is, oh, this is queued document, ding ding. We'll actually just shove it in here, right? Document ID. Oh, I need this. Or index, and I'm going to make this sweeping assumption that this index should probably always come back with default because this is, being specified. And then we're just going to think, yeah, Copilot, exactly that. See, here's a great example of Copilot being helpful. Like, I had these things displayed differently, and then it put them back. Okay, so if this guy comes in here, what we actually want to do is list, and I want to put string index, string document ID, pending documents gets new, call it a day, right? So what we will do is we will do well, it's because I have that null return. I'm a little cautious, right? So we'll do this. Thanks, Copilot. Hey, Copilot, what do I want to do here? Go. Don't make me type. Here's your hint, Copilot. That's all I'm giving you. Go. Thank you. Freaking show off. Okay, Copilot, what do I want to write about here? Huh? What do you think I want to do? Yeah, that's pretty good. Now what? Yeah, that's about right.
Oh, Lordy.
Now, admittedly, this is going to ping on one of them and wait for that one to be done. And not finish looping through the list. So it's not quite right.
Not cool. No,
but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Failed to ingest document ID. I don't want to do a return. But I do want to break here so that it flips up to the next document. Let's see here. Console write line document Oh, thanks. Yeah, something like that.
There you go.
I think I want that. Because then it will sit here looping, and hopefully then we see some progress. Okay. We probably are still chugging along at Yi slow mode. Yeah, we've managed to do 5 of 187. That
Not fast enough.
that is not up to snuff. Okay,
I have a need for speed.
agreed. Absolutely agree. So we're gonna go here, and it put a bunch of stuff in there, and I appreciate that. And then I'm gonna delete it all.
Did we already stop the action? Okay, yeah.
I stopped the action. But you make a good point. Maybe I will do something a little different. But I gotta push this now. Let's see, because this change here is critical. Let me check here. This has that has that has that. Updating ingest to rip through all documents. Go baby go. That's a Snoop joke if anyone's ever paid attention to the output of Snoop. There's probably about one person who will appreciate that. Okay.
Give me 1 second. I have dogs.
You do. I don't need to do anything there. I can just execute this now. Right? Let me see what the running status is of this though. You are just hanging out. Okay, so that makes me feel better. And then I am going to hit just markdown, run workflow, send it. I'm gonna hide Casey while he's away. Just because when he pauses his video, it locks him in place. I wish Teams was smarter. Okay. That goes there, that goes there. Now we should see it just kick off and start ripping through all of the files. And then hopefully here, we start to see this thing scale out. Or at least at a minimum, like even if it doesn't scale, do you use conventional commits in? Oh, not often. I will say that. I've worked with people who use them quite a bit, and it is it can be quite useful. On this project, it's it's me, and so the only person who's going to hate my Git history is going to be future Kevin, and I don't care about him. But a couple of people on the team that I'm working with now, I don't know if they follow it very strict adherence to it, but they oftentimes, that is the structure that they will put in. For people unfamiliar with this, it's this. Like there's an actual full spec for how to go through and structure your stuff out. And we've brought this up because I've taught Git to like university students, and it is oftentimes very helpful because students will often go, well, what should I type? What is good, right? And there's not one good way to do a commit message, but this is a good way. And it's not a bad idea to structure things this way. And I've even seen people use this rather than on the commit, but on the pull request description as well, of structure it this way. It does require a bit of forethought and thinking, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I will say, go ahead, Casey. Yeah, and I think another like I think your point is spot on the mark for cost versus benefit. The other thing is look at how often you actually need to go back and read through past history on commits, right? Like, yeah. Yeah, and I think the Irachinsky, probably butchering that name. Your comment about how it works well for big teams. I think the key benefit for it is to have a good way of communicating what's in a commit without somebody having to look through every change in the commit to be able to see it. Right? If there's a standardized format to the messages, it makes it very easy for our brains to do pattern recognition on it and go, ooh, bing, 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 and pull it apart. So it works really well for that. Casey, if you turn your camera on, I'll turn you back in. Um,
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think the other thing I was just thinking about that where I'd see benefit in doing it is and again it comes with consuming it. It's like all data. Data is only as valuable as if data is only valuable if you're doing something with it. So that extra data, like if you were using it to build like patch notes or to build like, change history that you're releasing out, using that as like something you're generating off of, definitely beneficial.
yeah. I am noting something here on our scaling out. So we have almost, it's taken us this long just to pound all of the requests out. Um,
Oh,
somebody doesn't,
good old document ID is complete.
somebody, somebody, somebody didn't type his $ on his string interpolation. We're gonna fix that. I am noticing too that the other thing is when we rip through all of the files, like
Hmm.
one potential optimization could be send all of these simultaneously to the server.
As a batch.
Yeah, Aaron Chinsky, thanks for dropping in. Like, love questions.
Later.
Um, yeah, like we're sending these things up as like one at a time, and so it is very much a we're doing a post, then we're pulling parsing the response, and so
Hmm.
that delay
We're not sending another
until
one
we're done.
until,
So we can
yeah.
speed up the upload by paralleling that out. Like I don't know how long this
Yeah.
thing ran, but we were close to the like 5 minutes just to do 187
Yeah. It
posts.
was just about 5 minutes. Yeah. And that's quite a bit of savings because we don't actually have to wait for those responses.
Right. And we know that the
Yeah.
first two finished out of 187. And I was realizing when I was looking at the scaler, this thing's not going to scale out. So the reason it's not going to scale out is because it's got an HTTP scaling, right? The scaling rule is based on the
Mm.
number of HTTP
That
requests
was the
coming in. What we
that was the other thing that we were, yeah. That was the other piece that we were missing. The reason we didn't do this last time was because we were trying to figure out what exactly we needed to do for the
correct,
scaling.
right? And so this
Yep.
is
And that was the managed identity piece
right.
too.
So
Yep.
okay. So
Yeah. It's all
the
coming
nice
back.
part though is I think we can just tune this on like now mid because all of it should be in the queue, right?
Yeah, it should.
Hoy
Yeah.
vey, hoy vey. So short version, I don't think it used those queue names. I think it took the account and said, "I got you. Let me make you some queues." Um, so here's the other thing that's a little awkward about this, right?
That's
Every
interesting.
stage of the process is inside the same image, right? The HTTP endpoint to receive the request is in the
Hmm.
image. The thing that then goes
Yeah.
and reads from the queue is in the same image.
Runs it. Yeah. There was, and I think
Okay,
there's,
new.
I want to say there's something about this in the
Yeah,
docs. There's not much, but there's something in there
hold on,
about
hold on.
the ingress into the queue versus the workers of the queue.
Right. So hang on. We're gonna have a little fun here, right? We're gonna go here. Nope. Where do I show replicas, where there is a place where you can. Do I actually have to go in and change the?
You're trying to change the scaling live.
Yeah, because you can
Yeah.
dial the sucker up. Can I just? Oh, you can just do this.
Add.
Min replicas 10.
Yeah,
Save.
there you go.
And then what I expect to see is it go about 10 times faster. That would be my assumption. Is I make this thing go so rather than scaling based on that, because that's going to be the hard thing, right? Is which queue do I pick?
Well, I think we can tune it so that we're not, well, configure it so that we're not going against 80 queues, or we can definitely go into the code and figure out which one's the last one we should ever hit.
Yeah.
Like deleting a specific type of temporary file that you don't get to until the end of the run,
Right.
the end of the workflow.
Well, but the thing is, if you do it, I want to know which stage.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Because
Yeah,
it's going into a queue, it's coming out, being processed, going into another queue, coming out, being processed. Like, you almost want to know how much time you're spending in each section. And I almost want.
Well, and that's why
I almost want.
That's why I'm thinking we can.
At each stage.
I think it can be configured for one queue.
Oh, so everything goes into the same queue?
I would assume.
How would you separate?
Maybe
how
not,
would you
though.
separate which Well, okay. So first of all, I want to see this thing actually.
I would think some type of metadata. If you're talking about how would you determine one job.
So
from
short
another.
version, we're up to 10. What I want to see here is this thing start going ping, 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 ping.
Yeah.
I am mildly concerned that the way I've written this means if one thing gets stuck, it won't check it how many are remaining. So real quick, while we're thinking about this, I want to just change this logic real fast. So let's see. I want to take all of these things and I want to send them as a batch. So while pending documents dot count greater than 0, we're gonna just fire the whole lot of them, right? Static.
Wait.
Bool.
What are you trying to? You're trying to send the.
So what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to do string index string document ID. I want to pound on the server. Like, let's use some processing power.
Specifically getting the status back.
Correct. Right. Okay. So task bool is complete async, but you should spell async correctly because that's a useful thing. Async static. Oh, I guess we don't want to go static. We want to reuse the client. Let's see. If failed is true. Well, we still want this. And then we want to return true. Otherwise, we want to return is complete. Well, I actually just, because I just want to know. Right? So we want to do this. And then up here, what I want to do is here, what I want to go with is await task when all pending documents, boom. So we want to do that. Let's see here. Pending documents select is complete index document ID. Why is it unhappy about this one?
It's complete. It's because is complete async sends back a bool. Or no. No. Then the document ID is not a string. What's the type of
Oh,
X?
it's because I'm an idiot. Why didn't we establish that I'm an idiot?
IT.
I'm an idiot. So once we fix the
Yeah.
ID10T error, it gets much simpler. And then we go like this, and then what we want to do here is let's see, pending documents inside of here. This is gonna look weirder than I'll get out, so I'm gonna apologize in advance to what I'm about to do to people. Async. Let's see. If await, right, and then we're gonna lock pending documents, remove. Sorry, I wanna make sure I'm not doing anything stupid here, because the odds of stupidity with multi-threading is high. So pending documents is a
Yep.
local variable. We call toList on it first, which will be evaluated before the task.winAll. This way we get a copy of the list that we are going to act on the select. The select is an IEnumerable that then gets lazily evaluated, but the winAll is going to force evaluation immediately. The select takes in an async delegate in which it pulls out the tuple, promptly pulling in the index and document, waits for is complete is true. We're going to lock on our list to make sure we don't have two people mucking with it at the same time. Call remove because lists are not thread safe. And then after all of this is done, we're going to console write line. No, Copilot, come back. No, that is not what I liked your first suggestion. And then it will tell us how many documents are pending. And I want to watch that thing go from 187 to 150.
Now, really quickly, for all our friends online listening, if you didn't fully or barely tracked what he said there, rapid fire across the multi-threaded asynchronous is complete and locking stuff, don't worry, we're in the same boat. I barely understood it also.
I just make it go fast.
It was very fast.
Well, code goes fast now too. It goes burr.
That too.
Code go burr.
Brr.
Yeah. Few minor tricks. Here, we'll make it more readable, right? Var current pending documents, right? So we'll make it obvious that we're making a copy, right? And then we'll feed the copy in. The reason you need to copy it is because in theory you could get all the way down to this line before the other one before this select was done evaluating. Is it realistic? No, we know that post takes several seconds. It's going to rip through these things in like milliseconds. But my brain goes, no, it's possible. Must prevent it. So we do a copy of the list. So the thing we're iterating on is fully evaluated before we have a chance of getting inside of here. Okay. So
Alrighty.
this guy is still
There you go.
going and chugging along. Has been going for 16 minutes. I want you to know a colleague of ours made the mistake of saying, I don't know what to do with all my GitHub minutes. I have a thought.
Run ingestion pipelines for
It's like, I know
for
what to
data.
do with
Yep.
my GitHub minutes. It's
That'll
very
run through
simple.
minutes. Give them to
Point,
Kevin.
click, execute. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Let me just fix this. Let's see. Make status check all documents, because this way if something gets stuck we'll see it count down to a particular number and then kind of hang up. I am mildly
nice.
concerned. I've got 10 replicas up. How do I look at I want to look at the individual containers. Console log stream. Like, what is this? Oh, there you go. That's how you can get through each of these.
Unauthorized.
What's interesting is that it processed the small file just fine.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Wait. Theory.
Okay.
Yeah, theory. Let's go look at your Azure OpenAI service metrics.
Azure OpenAI.
And I think we'll want the ones that are inside of the OpenAI Studio to the right.
Oh, not the one that I just clicked on. You want this one?
The other one might
take us
what
to
we're
the same
for.
place.
I don't know.
This button doesn't appear to do anything, so let's not use that one.
It's a great dashboard.
Okay.
And then I think you can go to your deployments and see and then choose embeddings. Let's start out with embeddings. Metrics, top left. Yeah. And
let's see. We went 0.0000000. 26,000.
26,000. That's requests per minute.
Yep.
That's not tokens per minute.
Yeah. So this thing is
5 million tokens.
I want to get this thing down to yeah. So total prompt token count.
Let's go look at what you have set as your quota for this.
Quotas. So what you're thinking is that the bottleneck is Azure OpenAI, and I went go burr, and it went no.
Usage 100%. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay.
So
that's awesome.
So 350,000 tokens per minute is my cap.
Yeah.
And what we're saying is I went right into that.
Well, and so okay, so
what's this button do?
I think we did rough calculations at the beginning of this, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not that many because each 1,000 is like a couple cents. But I think this is maybe bigger than I thought it was going to be for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so used to running a lot of this locally, but pop down the tokens per minute for embeddings. I want to see what detail. Okay, it doesn't really. Just says that.
I mean, we drug the slider all the way up as far as it'll go.
Yeah. We may be capping out. Yep. You could always request more quota.
I was actually looking to see. There is a question. You can run all of this locally? Question mark.
Not specifically with well, actually, did they open source embeddings Ada 2 yet? Part of me wants to say that I feel, or maybe they've only released one. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they must not have released it. But you can run other embeddings. So Ada 1 isn't, or Ada 2 is not the only embeddings model. So you could run the embeddings model locally. You could run like Llama 3 or use Ollama, which Kevin is very familiar with.
I love my Ollama. So if you want to run any of this stuff locally, this, in my opinion, makes running this stuff locally as dirt simple as it possibly can get. You install Ollama. Then on a terminal, you type in Ollama.
And you look at his.
And you see what I've got. Let's see. I have show information from a bottom. I want to list.
list.
So
Yeah.
I only have a Minstrel model pulled down, but you'll note you can just pull down models from a registry. This is
Yep.
very, very convenient. So Casey's question about is the model open source? If a model has been open sourced, then you can pull it down here, right? Because I think
Yeah.
this sources from Hugging Face at minimum.
I would assume it has to.
So
I mean, who else has models
yeah,
for
so
days?
Hugging Face is, think of it as your Docker hub or your NuGet for AI models. That is effectively Hugging Face. So I think Docker Hub's a closer analogy, but
Yeah.
Olama gives you a nice running application, and then on their GitHub, let me show that because this I love this stuff. This guy under their docs, like if you want to have what is the right term for this? A customized little agent. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
is that the right thing?
Well, I wouldn't call it an agent,
Well,
no,
you can go back and
unless
forth
it's
your own little custom GPT
bot.
bot. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, your chat bot. Yeah.
yeah. So with something that looks real similar to kind of how you might structure like a Docker file, you can go through and customize up how you want your bot to behave, and then you can just start chatting with it locally. Right? This is not quite the same as like, hey, partition this document, generate embeddings for me. But if what you're looking for is a locally run like Chat GPT knockoff that you've got your customization stuff already plugged in on, yeah, you can do this. And it gives you access to control things that sometimes that you would have to pay for, because the free Chat GPT I don't think lets you control all of the settings. I think there's certain ones you have to have
No,
a
it
paid
doesn't.
tier for. This you get
That is
access to
correct.
a bunch of stuff, and you can set your system prompt and do some fun customizations and whatnot, and be off to the races. So if you want to run something locally, this works. Like yeah, there's lots. You have fun. Sky's the limit. So you can get that much running locally. You can also get the embeddings models and stuff and having that spun up locally. I will say to run a lot of this locally does require a bit of juice to
Yeah.
especially
That is the
to run
downside.
it effectively, which is why so many people favor running like Azure OpenAI or hitting OpenAI services directly, because that compute juice
Y-
and the systems needed to run it aren't cheap.
Yep.
And so having pushing that compute onto somebody else to deal with is generally preferable. I think is
Yeah, I mean, really the only reason like it's it's like all things. If you're really like security conscious or you just have this thing for wanting to run all your stuff locally, then it can be done. It'll cost more, but you also have to maintain the hardware. It's the same reason why it makes sense to go to the cloud instead of have your own data center. There's cost, time, effort,
yeah.
money, space, all of that in maintaining your own
Well, and
hardware.
Izzy, if you've got a 5 node VMware system hanging out not doing anything, you're right. Yeah, might be like
There
if
you
you've
go.
got the compute power locally already. I mean,
Yeah.
more power to you. And a lot of these things are also optimized to leverage. What is the thing on the GPU? There's certain there's a
CUDA.
yeah, depending on what GPU you have in those systems, a lot of these will be
Yeah.
optimized to leverage um, CUDA, is what you said, right, Casey?
CUDA for NVIDIA, but I can't remember what they have some kind of special cores in Radeon or AMD. They're not as widely as supported as CUDA, but it's gotten a lot better. So having an RTX or not an RTX, but a AMD graphics card for machine learning or AI has gotten better. It used to be awful. If you were not running an NVIDIA or running green graphics cards, then you were having a really rough time.
Yeah. So yeah. Uh, absolutely. If you've got the compute power, and especially if you've got decent graphics cards in there, you could potentially get some decent perf out of it locally. Or if you don't care about speed, right? Like that's another thing too. If perf doesn't matter, things get a lot easier. Okay, so I am curious. So in generating these embeddings, like we are probably just we canceled this one, right? Yeah. So here's the problem, Casey. I don't
Yes.
know how to tell it to stop.
Oh,
So, like, for example, I could dial the sucker down.
so yeah, you dial it to 0,
Right.
kill it
But what
off. You have to then go clear the queue.
cues?
Yeah, well, again, this is why getting it in one queue would be great. Queues. Although I think you can clear. Maybe you can't clear all the queues at
Here, I want
once.
to see if these things are still chugging away.
Also, I'm trying to get logged into Twitch on my other computer. I'm gonna share
Some
um,
links.
some links.
Delete
Yeah,
resource group. See, Izzy, if I had
that's a
if I
fine.
had Terraform up, that
Uh,
I would
no,
absolutely run Terraform Destroy on this.
no, you'd entertain it. You wouldn't do it because it would still take longer than doing it, you know, via command line
So
or some other way.
this may have stopped, right? Like I don't know how. I'm surprised that this is an unauthorized. Is what's getting me. Hang on, let's look in the database. How?
You're unauthorized to send so many dang requests.
I mean, I get
Uh,
that, but let's pretend like
uh,
we aren't. Um, where do I get down to this? Casey, help. Where do I find this thing?
what are you trying
The
to find?
thing to query the database.
Oh, schemas.
Schemas, of course. How silly of me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Don't even get me started. Schemas, first of all, schemas are awesome. Second of all, EF Core does not support Postgres very well, and you can't do schema level tenancy very easily because it doesn't even exist in SQL Server.
see,
It's
only
better.
1,300. I realize people can't see it, but when I run a count, there's only 1,300 rows in here. So yeah, your name's not completely covering it up, but 1,307 rows. Okay, so if we go here, delete,
Yep.
and then save data changes. All right, so that'll no log since the last 60 seconds. Okay, so that seems like that worked. I think let's hypothetically dial this thing down to like 3. Right? Let's enough to see a performance increase, not enough to hate my life. Right? And then
Fair enough.
here it's going to hit all documents. I blew the databases away. I don't think it's processing anything left in the queues. We can try and check them.
Let's go look at your queues. I cannot imagine that it is not full.
Delete generate. Well, but the thing is,
That one is reasonable that you won't have that. I would go to an embeddings one or a
do this.
um,
Gen embeddings, nothing. Gen embeddings
wow.
poison. So the
There we
poison
go.
queue has a bunch of stuff in it.
Actually, that tracks though, right? Because it would have failed processing the message. It would have trying to go get the embedding from the API and throw it back on the queue. Gets picked up. What was it? 30, 20 times, right?
Yeah. So save records. failed out. Copy to clipboard.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Are we blowing through? Are we blowing through your Postgres here?
Unclear. DQ count of 21. So the only things left in any of these queues are poison queues.
Is that all the queues, or is there something else
Oh,
below the summarize poison because of the view all?
no.
Oh, okay.
Summarize poison
cool.
is all of them. But Gen, I love how extract poison is a name. That just so let me copy one of these suckers over. I just want to look and see if there's anything actually useful in here.
No. I mean,
it tells me the index.
Yes and no.
It tells me the document ID.
Well, and you can go find the file. You can go find the file correlated to this in the storage account too.
Oh, do I need to blow away the stuff in my blobs?
You might need. Well, I don't know. I don't think so because of, well, it supports. I don't know. I can't be sure.
What I heard was
I'll
torch
be real
it.
with you. Well, hold on a second though. Before you delete it, part of me wants to say that these are still supported. That if we kill it,
oh, like
I guess we don't have to kill it. Like these are records that it would use to pick
so
up.
it would know that it doesn't need to continue processing and redo this.
I think so. I can't be 100% sure because I haven't dug deep enough to do this.
I mean, the last modified date on some of these
anything
is
this large.
kind of far back. Okay, so we want to.
Well, yeah.
So the queues are empty. The one thing I want to do really quick is I want to go in here and I want to delete I want to delete the ones that I made. Because I'm fairly confident these aren't being used.
Yeah.
So let's
delete what's in your storage too, your containers. Let's just start fresh.
Okay.
Fire away. Kill it.
Why it not?
Burn it.
Why it not let me delete?
Because you're not the owner?
Huh?
I don't know. Wild guess.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm only attempting to delete one blob in directories. Just one. 1,000,000. Yeah, because this will be interesting because I will be curious to know what their hosted service does when when you hit your token limit. Because that would be really obnoxious if they didn't gracefully handle it.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
Got a lot of notifications here. We're just gonna clear some of those up. And then we're gonna send this sucker. Actually, you know what would be an interesting thing to know while we're waiting for that thing to finish deleting? What did this system cost me while it was sitting idle for a month? Oh, this is the storage account. Hang on. I want to do it at the resource group level.
$10.
You think it's that high?
Yeah. just because of Postgres and ACR.
Yes, we'll see here in just a minute. So forecast is $19.94 a month based on current forecasted amount. If we look at that's current
Last 30 days.
where do you see that? There we are.
20.
2015.
Azure for Postgres 15. Container registry 4.
Okay.
Yep. Those are the
Fair
two.
enough.
I know.
All hail.
I just got my. Yeah. Missed it by half. Dang. Should have doubled my estimate.
Well, and I mean, only part of that we were hammering on it one stream, so
Yeah.
like it'd be in that range. Come on, delete the blobs. How many blobs are out there?
Oh, it's a lot. Well, it's one blob, but a lot of directories. Right?
Well, but there are no directories in blobs. Right? Like
yeah, yeah, fair. Yeah. It's
directories
a lot
and
of blobs. It's one
blobs
container.
are like directories
Yeah,
in Git branches. They are fake.
I do like virtual directories.
But yeah, there's a few things for it to delete. I guess we've kind of made a mess of it, which is probably, I think I've probably lost more money in the time waiting for this to delete than the cost of leaving them stored there.
Yeah.
Because it costs 1 penny for the last 30 days.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I'm just scared to kick this thing off because I don't know how it does the delete. Like, I would hope it wouldn't, like, stuff that comes in after the delete operation has been executed, it, orders the operations.
You'd think that it would, that it would queue the
but
jobs.
I'm also distinctly aware that things like Windows don't do that, so I don't trust it. Okay, come on, delete. I want to get a nice solid run. Is there something you wanted to look at in terms of measuring the tokens? Because I don't know if we measure tokens forever for the total estimate, right? Because I know we looked at doing some of it.
We did rough numbers, I think.
Because
I mean, what I would want to see actually is probably back in OpenAI Studio, go to the metrics again.
By metrics, you mean open the Azure AI Studio?
Yeah, it was your next tab over. That's what I thought you were gonna do, but you didn't go there.
Oh, look at that right there.
So go to your deployments again and go to the embeddings one. You're already there. Go to metrics. See if we can get, switch to like last day. And what's is that 30-minute variations?
Let's see. So that
time?
was, shows 10:19, 10:49. Yeah, so
So in the span of 30 minutes, we sent 3 million tokens.
We went down in the span.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean is from that.
Well, from 9:49 to 10:19, we sent nearly 3 million.
Yeah, 3 million tokens. Wow.
So
100 million, or no, 3 million. So a million per, or 100,000 per minute divided by number of requests that were allowed per minute.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
From Sheddits, where did you learn C#? So I learned it mostly on the job. So I have a CS degree, but in school I learned Java and Visual Basic.net, and you put those two things together and you kind of land on C#. and so one of my first jobs out of university was in C sharp. So that is where I had started my learning. A lot of it has been uh, self, like I don't want to say self-taught, but a lot of self-taught self-learning on the way. I will also say this: if you are interested, here's a nice uh, free resource. So this is the Essential C Sharp book. Hey, look, there's my name. Um, uh, and this here is the contents of the book. And so it's designed to, for some people it'll feel slow, for some people it'll feel fast, but it aims to try to meet somebody wherever they're at and bring them up to uh, a fairly high level in terms of language knowledge by the end of it. Let's see.
Yeah.
What is this? Oh, different embedding models.
Yeah, so those are the ones that you can get and run locally. Not all of them, but the majority of them. There's different licensing on different ones, but those can do what Ada is doing. And then beyond that, like you were saying, Mistral or Llama via Ollama, you can run the um, chat models, which would functionally give you what we're building locally.
Yeah, hang on one second. There's a very important setting in here. Okay.
Yes.
And then one second, I gotta do this button real quick. Unless I see one of my mods sitting in here. I don't see one of my mods. Yeah. Twitch, bad timing. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, I think we've got. Dear heavens, it's still going. How likely is it that you would recommend Azure OpenAI Service to a friend or colleague? I want to say 0, simply because this is not where I want my feedback forms. Go away, Azure. Not the time to ask me a question. It's still deleting? Oh, it is. Oh, of course, I hit the refresh button. The. Ooh. Apparently, I need to move this region. I want to do image stuff. Go to self.
Yeah.
At least on my subscription. I don't doubt there are other ones. Let's see. Answer: it's not a topic I usually discuss. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think we just fire it, or do we wait for the blobs to finally get deleted?
I wish it gave a progress.
Yeah. Let's see. Currently getting my associate's degree in computer systems information for a for-profit school that costs $60, and they will go through stuff like introduction to programming, HTML coding, programming, Java. That's a great for $60. That sounds like a steal of a deal, and you should absolutely do it for that price. Um, that's ironically that's kind of where I started as well. Is I was doing an associate's degree at a local community college, and at the time I wanted to be a sysadmin, and my college advisor had suggested just take this one programming class just to see if you like it. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll take a programming class, I'll see how it goes. Hoy bay, like that was after I took that class, I went, yep, I am hooked. Absolutely love coding. It's not for everybody, but I think doing like an introduction to programming and seeing if you like it is definitely it's a worthwhile thing, because the whole computer information system field, like there's a lot in there, a lot of different things.
Definitely. lot of areas to move. Yeah, I was just gonna make the comment. Uh, you took that class, and from then on, your life was forever changed. The defining moment to bring us this stream.
I mean, yeah. Izzy, have fun at work. Seg
Later.
faults are always entertaining. But yeah, for that kind of price, it's definitely worthwhile to go into. Like the the vast majority of the field um, pays fairly well, depending on where in the world you're located. But like at $60, that sounds like a good thing. I would say try the programming ones if it's something that you like. Like I know some people who they love coding. That's me. I'm biased. I think that's the best choice. But I know people who enjoy doing things like QA and they are exceptionally good at it. I know people who like being a sysadmin and they're very good at it. And it's like, I don't really want to do this coding thing. And it's like, that's fine. You don't have to build software. The one thing I will say
Yeah.
is a lot of kind of like how electrical engineering kind of started morphing into a little bit of like software firmware coding a little bit over the years. Like before, in ye olden days, like decades back, electrical engineering meant like soldering wires and stuff together. And now it's like programming FPGA boards. So it's like it's kind of uh, a special thing that it starts to morph in. And there's a lot of fields that have started to adopt small amounts of coding. Like you don't need to be a full blown software developer, but like there's low code and no code solutions, or they want sysadmins to do infrastructure as code. And there's a lot of that skill, even if you don't want to be a software developer, is leaking into other areas.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why you have like offshoot fields like bioinformatics and things like that, where uh, are you going to be writing software? No. Would you likely use like Python scripting or some other, like you were saying, low code, or just an understanding of that type of problem solving and utilization of math and logic? It's useful everywhere, and almost every field is being inundated with it, at least to some
Mm-hmm.
degree.
Yeah, so it's a worthwhile thing to at least know and try, and then decide kind of how much of it do you like versus how much do you hate it. Because a certain level of being a software developer is being okay with being frustrated.
That's absolutely factual.
There's a lot of why isn't this working, and also why is this working.
There are plenty of walls that will have dents from you pounding your head against them.
Absolutely, man. This thing is just well, okay. There's only 39 items left in here, but some of these things have a lot of items. It's got to be close, right?
Yeah, it's getting pretty close because you'd think each one of those would be for each file in
I'm gonna
your
I'm gonna start
transcripts.
just manually killing individual ones and seeing how long they take.
Down to 30. It was at 75 a couple minutes ago, so yeah,
Yeah, it's just I'm surprised. There's 28,
it's taking this
28,
long.
27, 26. Hey, if I hit refresh, I get a progress bar.
There you go.
25, 24. I
Beautiful.
found how to get the progress. 23. Come on, baby.
Oh, Lordy.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of should have.
It's
Yeah,
effective.
like I know that there was probably roughly I don't know 187 of them
Might have been.
ballpark. Wait, Windows progress bar went back up. Failed to delete. Specified blob doesn't exist. So 9, 8.
So it is going off of a list, and it's just complained about the one that you manually deleted, or one of the ones that you
Probably.
manually
So it
deleted.
does queue the operations
It does
as soon
queue.
as you hit them. So
Yep,
we would probably have been safe. No,
that does appear to be
well,
the
no,
case.
because it just cached the blob name, and the blob names are going to match. because they're keyed on the file names. So it keyed the operation of I'm going
That's
to
true.
delete this blob at this ID.
Although, didn't we see dates on some of those?
I have named some of my files with dates.
Oh, that's the names of your files. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Fair.
I'm so very close. Come on. There we go. Successfully deleted one blob.
Huzzah.
There. You are completely empty. Okay, what I heard is send it.
Really
Oh,
quickly.
I just
Did you already
No.
click go? Okay. I know. So you've had your concerns. I've been thinking about this and I've had my own concern. And maybe we already accounted for it. I'm not sure. But there's ways that to batch your requests into the OpenAI embeddings API. I don't know if we're doing that. And if we're not doing that, we should. And it may be a configuration because this is going to be down at the
down.
kernel
Got
memory
it. So
level.
this is going to be in here, right?
It might be
So
in
what
there.
you're saying is come in here and search for the word batch. This is fetch on the queue. That's probably not it. Max embedding batch size, because this is how I assume this is the batch that's being sent to OpenAI, right?
In one request, yeah. So maybe we're accounting for it, and maybe it is using that already. I just wanted to make sure because
is that a reasonable?
If we were, well, we can see. So go to.
Oh, hold on, hang on. Azure OpenAI embedding. This is
max batch size 1.
That seems small. Can I make this big?
Yes.
What's big?
You can make it fairly big. Let's go look at the docs. It says in the docs. I promise. That's the only reason I know about this.
But didn't we try that?
Not the docs in here. The docs for Ada embeddings, the Azure OpenAI, because that's what we care about is the batch size that it can accept on the API.
So,
probably not the tutorial, but although maybe.
Yeah, sometimes they have links out, but you are right. Embedding models. That's not useful. That's not useful.
Azure. Microsoft, just give me the docs.
Hang on. Let's do. If I just grab the max embedding batch size, right? Like that. What I would like to see is the docs that cover that.
Azure, the open.
So let's see.
Batch endpoints.
So the maximum length of input text of our latest embedding models is 8,192 tokens.
That's one of the.
If sending an array of inputs in a single request, the maximum array size is 2,048. I would assume array of inputs is the batch endpoint. Am I out of line with that thinking?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking at a different set of docs.
And I can.
It actually may say in the interface, the Azure OpenAI Studio.
Oh, batch jobs.
Probably not.
Deployment.
Way at. No, I don't think that's the same kind of. Hold on, right there. Go back to the deployment. Stop. Tokens per minute. Requests per minute. Okay, no, it doesn't say on there. I know I've seen this somewhere. I know I've sent us batch endpoints.
Because I think at minimum cranking it up to 100, that's 2 orders of magnitude. And that
Yeah, let's
that
shoot for it. It matches what they had in
yeah,
that other
and
area.
well, in this doc here, the one that I put in, like 8,192 tokens. Like this is 8,191. So
Yeah.
that's hopefully between the two of these, it's intelligent enough to know what to do. I hope. I mean, this is all
Yeah.
config based. So who knows? Let me adjust the one on the other side. Let's see, what line is that? 5.
Interesting.
Let's see.
You got me on that one.
Okay. So bump that up on my prod one. That does mean you are going to annoy me and make me push a new version of my image. And then go do a deployment. Because reasons. Let's see here. If we go back out. Let's see, take me in there, and then we go in here. And then we go revisions and replicas, right? And then we go, nope. And then we go here. And then we go image, nope. Wait, 7? Did I not bump my, did just bump my version? Yeah. Oh, I must have hit my thing before it was loaded. There's 8. Okay. Let's see. Save. Create. Okay, so we will get V8 rolled out. Okay. Let that guy activate and bring him across, and then I will get to click the happy button that you refuse to let me click because you don't want me to have any fun. Okay, new version's out, old one's deprovisioning. I'm going to just make sure it gets all the way down. It should not take long because there shouldn't be any traffic on it. Come on. Refresh, 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 refresh. Come on, bring the sucker down. Replica unhealthy. I know. Supposed to be stopping. There we go. Dead. Okay. Anything else? Fire in the hole? Send it?
Fire in
Full
the
send.
hole. Full send.
How to chew up your entire allocation of Azure AI in one easy step. Okay, so the nice part though is we should only, like, at this point we only have few containers to look at, so they're small enough that I can start chugging through them. Okay, so we are firing off documents. I'm a little surprised I'm not seeing logs on any of these yet because things should be going in. But I don't know exactly what this thing logs for output.
It logs warnings based on your log level.
Where do you see that?
Log
Oh,
level
look at that.
warning.
There we go. Okay, kernel memory, Azure Pews. Putting message back on the queue. 401 unauthorized.
From Azure OpenAI.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Does it need... Is it lacking permissions? It shouldn't be lacking permissions.
We ran the one and it
Well,
worked.
but here, I'm wondering.
Is there
I'm
something
wondering if
about
the files
the
existed inside the storage account. If the file existed inside the storage account and it didn't need to actually go to OpenAI to gen the embeddings.
Maybe.
Ooh. Dung, yes. I have done quite a bit with it secretly. And this will be a secret. The source data for this entire thing is docx files.
Oh gosh.
The
Yeah.
amount of
Don't even
yeah,
get it.
when we want to edit the text of this website, we edit a docx file. And then the infrastructure takes over. And Casey's laughing because he's had to work on this infrastructure. There's a remarkably large amount of infrastructure.
For a task that like verbally can be said so simply, it is such a complex workflow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, Casey. I'm gonna cancel this again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a theory that it's not working.
Okay. It
only appeared to work because of the storage account, because we didn't clear the storage account before.
Possible.
And I'm gonna, if I come in here and I come on to this guy, and I guess if I go up here and I go die container, right? I am wondering if.
So what do you think it is then? Where do you think the break is?
I think the managed identity to Azure AI.
Storage or
yeah.
Okay.
So that's my theory. I'm gonna come over here because you'll note nothing got created here now. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it took in the request. That means everything had to. I'm surprised that would be the case, right?
Actually, why?
Gen embeddings. So it queued up all of these things, but like it queued up this document to be processed. But where is the document?
Yeah.
It's not there.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't get to create
it goes in here. Oh, it's all in here. Okay, hang on. Okay, I want to clear these suckers. Gen embeddings, clear queue. Yes. All right. So here's my theory. Here is my theory.
Okay.
Dung, if you have any questions on docx's and processing them in C#, fire away. I have a suspicion that previously when we were running as me. Me has a lot of access.
Yeah.
We're now running as managed identity, not a lot of access.
Yeah.
It does have OpenAI contributor. That should be enough, right?
Wait. But hold on. Is that all the role assignments?
Yeah, it has Azure AI Developer and Cognitive Services OpenAI.
Oh, where's it? Oh, this is on Azure OpenAI. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This must be every time I go to hit the Azure Studio. Oh, comparing libraries. Let me hang on. We did the same thing. So depending on what you're trying to do, where is the let me go grab our code because I'm trying to remember the name of the lib that we ended up using. Where?
Because it's the one that was maintained by somebody and then somebody else picked up that maintenance, right?
Yeah.
I remember there was some kind of hiccup in
Yeah. So, well,
support.
and we got bit by a number of things with it. Oh, hang on. I forgot. Wrong org. I'm in the wrong bloody org. Let me back up.
Yes, you want to stay away from COM because that requires you to have like Word installed on your machine and all of that stuff, and that makes your life a living nightmare.
Not fun.
Yeah, I will say, depending on how you want to do things, like we had to fight with things trying to get pixel perfectness in, and that was
Yeah.
This is it. NPOI.
that's
Endpoint, yeah.
the guy. So
This one here is what we settled on after playing around with it. You can jump to the source repository. It is open source out on GitHub. The interesting part with a lot of ones, at least at the level we were operating at, you start to learn about the open office spec a little bit and kind of how weird it is. Because yeah, it's kind of yucky. But this one does a reasonable job. So in the author was at least accepting PRs back on it. I think we got several of them in. But yeah, that's the one that we settled on, and we run our builds on. Well, we used to run our builds on both Linux and Windows. We had to abandon Linux for non-NPOI reasons. But for other reasons that make me sad. Okay, so I am wondering if it just doesn't have access to this, because if it is getting a oh wait, I just killed it. Shoot, I should have copied those logs before I did that. Because I am willing to bet the issue is our container app lacks needed permissions to get to Azure OpenAI.
Well, what's weird about that for me, and you may be right, is that we use a key and an endpoint to access it. I don't think we should need. I don't think we should need any kind of RBAC.
Well, let's confirm that, because we aren't using a key. We're using Azure Identity.
And let me check that on.
Oh.
Let me check that on.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah, my prod one looks the same. We're using managed identity to go after
No,
it.
you're right. Then yeah, that's certainly our issue then.
So our managed identity is, I think, lacking access. But okay, so let's
adequate permissions.
So let's go here. Let's just look and see. I don't know what it needs.
Try starting out with just open in the search bar. It had contributor?
Yes, let's go back. So it currently has AI developer and OpenAI contributor.
And cognitive search. Yeah.
Let me get this guy fired up, and then let's run it with the single file real quick. Because
and all of these, we're sure all of these are running as the same managed identity.
Yeah, because it's a system assigned managed identity on the
container app, or the
container app environment. Yeah. So down on the app itself. So it's not on the. So this is the identity of this container app. Rather than the one of the whole environment.
Yeah.
So we could flip it over, and I could deploy it. Like if we get too much crap with this, I could just go copy the API key out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dung, the question of will we still use NPOI or Open XML SDK. I think we would probably stick with NPOI. So for our work, we were very explicitly looking at the styles on text and needing to parse it at kind of a lower level. And yeah, no, don't worry about interrupting. The
Mhm.
the problem that we'd actually contemplated is if we were to do it over, we would probably not use Word documents as the source material. We would probably invest
Yes.
time in converting away from Word documents as the source material into something else,
Dear God,
because
yes.
that was one of our biggest hurdles, is getting through all of that. And heaven forbid somebody turn on track changes on a Word document, and then you try to parse that at the OpenXML layer, and it's just a living
Nope.
nightmare. Magical IDs all over the place. So yeah, if we could go back and do it over, I think we would kill off Word as source material, but I realize that that's not a valid option for a lot of people. But yeah, I think we would probably still land on NPOI. I'm trying to remember the exact limitations we ran into with OpenXML, but there was something that we couldn't read properly, and it was something around style IDs. I don't remember the specifics. It's been like a year and a half.
It's been longer than that at this point,
It's been more than a
right?
year and a half.
Yeah.
Well, because the rush was for last November, right? That was the
I
push.
thought it was for the November
One of the
before.
requirements is tracking history changes. Yeah, I will warn you, if you
Yeah.
want to track history changes and have them show up with like the track changes in the document, like that's totally doable. But I will warn you, when you're parsing at like the MPOI level, it
Not pretty.
is not pretty. You start to have to like and you may want to look at the OpenXML SDK if you're looking for more high level stuff, because you might be fine there. Like I said, we needed to parse something a little bit lower level than what I think most sane individuals would ever do.
Yeah.
But it made things like track changes difficult, because you start, oh, I want to just pull out all the text of this paragraph. Well, when track changes is on, you technically get it twice. Once effectively, so that Word can be able to render like the red green of adds and deletes. So if you just raw blit out the text, you end up with a whole bunch of duplicated stuff
Mhm.
without the extra formatting. So
Yeah.
it makes it an interesting problem. I don't know, Casey, what we would. Let's look one more time. I don't know what else we would add to this guy. Right? Like, because if we've got AI developer and cognitive services OpenAI contributor,
Hmm.
um,
Go.
let's just hypothetically
Hmm.
AI. I mean, we could step it up higher, but I can't imagine that you need that.
I don't think you should need to. Yeah.
Uh, Especially since
Um.
Azure AI developer is supposed to be able to perform all actions besides manage the resource itself.
And you already gave contributor, and which is above user.
Yep.
Um. Hmm.
So
Go back up.
that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Start by going and yeah, go back out here. Go down to go to identity first.
Sorry, the identity of the AI.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just wanted to see what was in here.
Because I can push one that goes at it with a key.
Hang on,
Yeah,
before I click it.
before you dox yourself.
Yeah, okay, good. It doesn't show the keys.
Good. Yeah. Before I accidentally show my keys and then have to cycle them. Like we could switch to access via key if that makes our life easy in the short term. Boy, this deletion takes
Go.
freaking forever. I did not realize. Sorry. Move from
Hmm.
group. Move from group. Sorry, where did you want to go?
Back to OpenAI. Hit the not that level. The portal
Mhm.
level. Yeah. Go to networking.
Oh, you're thinking.
No, that's fine too. I'm just trying to check all the boxes in my head of why, other than we literally just hit the cap every single time and almost immediately, why it would be why we wouldn't have access.
That's why I'm wondering if, because if I come in here, right, and let's rerun this. Let me blow these away
Mhm.
and save changes, and then does this not dump everything?
I think it does. Oh no, I guess it selects only the 1,000 that are visible.
Insert annoyance here. Okay, so I may not have been fully clear in my database. No way, that was a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's now clear. That's now. Let me go back to the blob, and I want to make sure.
See where we're
Yeah, I
actually
want to
at.
make sure the memory gets cleared, and then now that I know that this guy's in here, showing all 256 items.
About halfway through.
So I'm gonna just do this as well. Man, it is so slow to delete these blobs. These things big or something? I don't.
mean, they're not huge.
They're not huge.
There's a lot of them, which is probably the biggest problem.
Yeah, but
I mean, go back to storage browser.
yeah.
There's some 47. No, go back to the top level. Top level gives you metrics. 47,000 blobs.
I mean,
It's a lot of files.
it's true. I guess that is a lot of blobs.
I feel like it should be faster than that, but still.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see. I was gonna look at the SKU that I had picked.
Yeah, that was.
Storage V2, it's only LRS, so it's not having to go across regions or anything funky.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deletion of blobs is definitely, because you're now empty.
Disappointingly slow.
Yeah. I do like how it only shows you the first 100 until you hit refresh, then it shows them all to you.
Right.
Like that.
So funny.
And one of these should probably err with the whole I couldn't find the thing at some point, but I'm going to make them fight with each other. I wonder if it goes faster the more operations I queue up. Just hypothetically speaking. Does that make it delete 4 times faster, or do I now have 4 things fighting with each other?
I also like how it's showing all the items, but you've got one more than the number of items there are.
Yeah, showing
So you've got
231,
the folder
232 is selected. That is a good point.
I want to delete up the stack.
I mean, I kind of do. Like that's part of why I went up to here and went, delete, right? See, now I'm only deleting 1.
And it's failing. It doesn't seem like it's getting any faster.
It doesn't, which is very disappointing.
Yeah.
I want you to go fast. My theory is that, so I think what I want to do is I want to try running this with the small file by itself from a clean slate.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's wise.
And then from that clean slate, see what comes. Yeah, 16 minutes ago.
Yeah.
only want to delete
506 of those.
I think this is a very misleading number, though.
Yeah, I think
I
it
think
is
it's the
too.
number of top level items, and then inside of there was the 47,000 directories.
Individual. Yeah. Also, I will be right back. I am starving and need a snack.
Lucky.
Lucky for being starving? I don't
Lucky
know about
for having
that. Lucky for getting a snack?
yes, that.
Uh,
Okay, well, we may end up having to call this before we get that far, though. It may be the kicker. Let's see, Hugging Face, OpenAI. Wish there was a faster way to run this.
well, there probably is. I would assume that there's probably a faster way to do this CLI.
Oh, well, now that you say that,
Yep.
AZ storage blob.
Again, I'll be right back, but I will be
Oh,
listening.
I don't doubt it. Let's see, mark. Oh, it marks for deletion. Oh, is that the kicker? Blob. Let's see here. I think we're going to end up in this vicinity here, where it's going to be, let's see, Kaboobot. Let's see, name. We're going to try an asterisk and see if it'll just happily do that for me. And then the container will be S memory. Specify blob does not exist. Well, I kind of want to just delete them all. Let's see here. If match, if none match. Like we could go through and, yeah. I also wonder if Azure Storage Explorer might make my life easier. Let's fire this sucker up and take a quick gander. All right, one moment. I need to adjust what I am connected to. I think I am connected to a lot of things right now. Let's see here. Let me just jump into the blob containers. Yes, memory. And then let's just, I'm going to trigger a deletion from in there as well, just to hypothetically see, because this uses, I believe, AZ copy under the hood to get its jobs done. Now we'll probably, just going to go through and clear some of these up. I will drag it on my screen here in just a moment. There. So we're going to just see if we can speed some of this up by manually kicking it. Clear completed. Let's see, refresh. If I do this, if that goes quicker. Don't know why this would be any more efficient. But it seems to be.
Seems to be significantly more efficient.
Yeah. I remember that the Azure Storage Explorer tries to parallelize its operations.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's why you can do uploads, downloads. They're successful.
And were you saying AZ copy under the
I
hood?
believe it's AZ copy under the hood is what it's actually executing. So, because you can see
Yeah.
copy AZ command to clipboard down in the bottom.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Copy AZ
so
copy.
it will kick off quite a bit of that stuff, which I think this actually gets me significantly faster.
And we like
We
faster.
do. I mean, you can see it's already ripped through 28% of clearing at default.
Yeah.
Like that's a sizable chunk compared to what the other one was doing. I think the portal must do them one at a time. So
Yeah.
we're no longer going to be managing our blobs in the portal. We're going to do that
does
here.
Yeah, that seems like the right move for sure.
I think this will have saved us significant periods of time by the time we get through all this. I'm just gonna highlight some stuff, clear out more stuff, and just let them all rip. And highlight more stuff. Give me that range. That sounds great. Delete. Yeah, yeah. You see, we're all the way down to 72. I feel like this is significantly faster.
There's no doubt.
That's the bottom of the scroll bar.
It is interesting though, in your topmost ones,
Mm-hmm.
it has to go discover first. And even that takes a while.
Yeah. But look at that. 31, 26, 25. I like how this thing's only 52% done, despite the fact that we're down to 23 items. That feels like this thing hasn't figured out that, oh, they're already deleted for me.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll catch on in a moment.
Fairly shortly, presumably.
Here in a minute, it should go, hey, all of my stuff is gone. Maybe I should not waste time deleting that. No data available. I'm curious what these things are deleting now that there's no data available, but you know.
It might be going through their list because they've already discovered and doing a, can I delete this? Oh, nope. All right, that's already deleted.
Yep, and checking them all.
It's checking through all the list. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's gone. So, and I'm going to refresh here to make sure it's empty. Good. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to take our little file, little happy file, and my theory is that if I run this now with empty, it's not going to work. That is my hypothesis. And we can come over here because we thought it was working because we saw the data. I think we saw the data due to a lie.
I feel like that's an old message.
Yeah, I was checking timestamps. 9/12, 6:55. That's old. 6:53. That one just came in. And after. That's correct.
End of inner exception.
Let's see. Warn Azure queue message. Putting message back on the queue. DB error while attempting to try to create. Huh? Was I supposed to clear something else out of the DB? Attempting to create index. Argument out of range exception. Am I stupid? I go.
I don't think so.
Let's see here. Indexes. Let's see. Isn't indexes a top level thingy in here?
Schemas. There you go. Yeah.
And it should be running with the admin. I mean, it's not getting a permission denied.
Parameter factory was actually was comma.
Okay, this is hard to read.
Very.
Let's get this. Let's step one. Let's get this out into a format we can look at. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Warn. Not drop the word Microsoft. Putting message. DB error alternate create index. Let's see here. Actual value. Postgres. This is none of this is me yet.
Yeah.
Add handler. So it's trying to set up the handlers and reaching across to the queue. I'm surprised because this is doing a does table exist async, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then doing a prepare config. It's like we've left something empty in our config
Yeah.
that needs to be set. So let me just go hunting for Postgres. Where is this coming in the pipeline? This is Azure Queue. So this is, I assume, trying to save. Okay.
Well, yeah.
So
But it's at the orchestration level instead of the step level.
yeah. Let's see here. So I can show here. Right. So this one is actually populated on the prod one with a connection string. This
and the same table
same
prefix.
table prefix. Yep. I don't think this is related.
Hold on, go back down.
Okay. This is retrieval.
Yeah, no. Definitely not.
And it's memory DB type. So that's the sum total of the config that is labeled here.
So,
which is a little shocking to me. Right? Because it's not like this isn't managed identity, this isn't anything fancy, this is just straight up here's a connection string, go. Right? So
And then let's take a look at, if we go and look at the, so actually let's look at this pipeline status. Yeah. Because this usually contains the open. So it did an extract, it did a partition, it generated embeddings, so it got through OpenAI, right? It called save records, and the save record step is the one that it is falling apart on.
Failed. Mm-hmm.
Right? It knows about all these things. It's generated up all this stuff. It's done a bunch of work. So I guess then if it is the save record step, we can go back over to our config here, right? And we can do save records, and that should get us somewhere. So this is their save records handler, which should be the one that gets invoked for this.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the error here, gonna look and see if I can confirm that I am in save records handler invoke async. So that all jives. I mean, we can even go look straight at this code. Line 339. But it calls create index once async. And
Yeah, go to that.
create index once
Create index.
once
Yeah.
async. Let's see here. Still have it open? Don't. Good news, it is only there. That makes this simple. So let's see here. Let's see, var key. Creating
That's for some kind of using.
So we know we got to create index. Right? I believe that's the next line in the stack trace.
So go.
Create index async, create index async. This is falling down in to the Postgres memory.
So go to create index async, because I don't think that's a database index. I think when it says index, it's referring to the
It's this
schema.
implementation, I believe. And there is the does table exist. Right? It's right there, so we can go into here. Does table exist? Boom. There, and then where do we go from there? Does table exist? And from there, we're looking to connect async and then prepare configure. So there's your connect async. And then
Configure away.
connect async, but I'm looking for
build.
Prepare configuration, because you're noticing this is going to be MPG SQL is now where we're jumping out of this one. It's probably inside of here. But this is going to now take us outside of kernel memory land into MPG SQL. Which kind of makes sense. We're in a client class. But I think...
What's changed that we're now failing on this?
Well...
Because we've written to the database before.
It's true. We have written to the database before.
What?
Remember, I wasn't confident in how I was clearing it before, so I don't know that I can conclusively say that we wrote to the database successfully tonight.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would agree with that. Let's.
Can I jump back here real quick? Because I kind of want to go
What I would
up one
say,
more level and look at.
yeah, I'm down to do that. The next thing I would say is delete the table.
Oh,
Would be my next thing.
hang on. I'm seeing this call stack may be interesting. Save records handler 339.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not as interesting. Where's the next one? Save records handler 213. 213. It's inside of here. So we came into this.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy got invoked, ripped through a bunch of source files, did a for each, if embedding generated enabled, which is false. We come into here. It does some work with the file MIME type. I think we've addressed those problems already. We come into here. For each memory DBs with single upsert. So this is the in-memory DB. And then it calls create index once async and then save record async.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that data ingestion I'm looking for that's the end of that. Well, it just feels like there's one more bit of config in here that we're missing.
Mm-hmm. Go all the way to the top real quick for me. Run web server, open API. Yeah. Data ingestion. Content storage type. Text type. Default index name.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah.
Let's go to your Postgres.
The PG admin.
Yeah, PG admin. Delete KM default, the table. And then run again.
Okay. Why is this guy still running? Ending documents. I would have expected it to be in a failed state. Apparently it's not in a failed state, despite being moved to a poison queue. That's terrifying. But on a positive note, the thing worked as designed.
Yeah.
Come on. Stop running, thank you.
Clear queue if we have to.
Yes, we can go clear those. But we don't want to clear this storage account, right?
I don't think we need to.
Storage account, storage browser, queues. It's going to be the save records, I imagine. Yeah.
Save records poison. Yeah.
Clear queue.
And then go back to our when you're done looking through all the queues, go back to the containers real quick. or at least the storage browser top level. That still says 47,000 blobs.
Well, when
Huh.
you delete,
Oh,
they're
it's-
saved for 7 days.
And it's also the data's updated about every
2 to 4 times a day.
about every 12 to 6 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that may be slightly misleading.
Not a valid, yeah.
Not an up-to-date number. Valid number, just, stale. Okay.
Very
So
stale.
we are going to actually just rerun.
Mm-hmm. That was my thought.
And then we could even go as far as to downgrade our app from a scale of 3 to 1 at this point.
While we get this resolved, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I probably should have done that in the middle of a run.
Nope.
It'd be fine.
It's fine.
Queue document for index default. Problem is I may have just screwed my ability to look at logs.
Yeah. It's possible.
That's a log stream. See, we are looking for a timestamp that is 27, 28, same error. Refresh.
Refresh, yeah.
It did create it.
Go to indexes.
IDX tags is all that's in there. So,
Library change?
I mean, I did rev NuGets earlier. So,
I mean, I don't know what else, man.
yeah. We could downgrade it. It is interesting now realizing that. Yeah. Is there a way for me to run locally with this and see? I mean, I could deploy the container locally. The issue that I have deploying the container locally is getting the appropriate identity into it. Right? That was the issue we had before, is because once you start running with managed identity, it kind of makes it a pain in the butt to be inside of a container.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's got to be a connection string problem.
Let me just share this with you. You'll appreciate this, my friend.
Oh, it
And
did.
this is on.
It did finish processing.
Hey! It did the needful.
It's in the database.
Now the real question is, was it deleting the table that fixed it? Does anything make sense?
What the heck? What the heck? Well, shoot, I might need to address this later because I might need to crash and see why is this storage. Oh, this storage wasn't used anymore. S memory is the one that's actually being used.
Mm-hmm.
So I was also looking at the wrong container.
Only for part of the time.
Yeah, but let me we should nuke this container. I like how it's still deleting blobs and directories. I'm gonna go out on a limb. You're not doing that anymore.
You're done.
Data storage containers.
Data storage, yeah.
You know, honestly, we should have just thrown away the whole container to begin with. That probably would have nuked everything in it much quicker.
Probably.
Because if this is what came through, and I think both of these are going to be identical in terms of being in here. Because we gen a new document ID with GUID new GUID. Right, so we get a different one in here each time, even though it's the same source data. This guy's pipeline status. Let's go here because I like this a little better. Which one has a later last updated time? 12/27. This one's latest. Open. I want to see what you report. I'm worried that scaling made a difference.
How so? Which part, I guess, is really the question.
Having multiple instances, like keeping something locked. That's what I'm worried about. Because all I did was scale from 3 down to 1, and then magically it completes. Which gives me a bit of pause.
So,
and that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I have a hard time with that because it shouldn't be touching nothing. No worker should be touching the same file at the same time because they pick up and know what file to touch based on the queue. And because the workflow is linear, you shouldn't ever end up in a state where file A's step 1 is in the queue at the same time as file A's step 2. And step 2 should never get on there until step 1 is complete. So you shouldn't have, I wouldn't imagine, more than one worker touching a file.
Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to blow.
Now, number of concurrent connections or a limitation in your connection to the database? Maybe. I don't know.
So we're going to come in here. We're going to rerun all jobs.
This is a single file one?
This is a single file one, yeah.
Okay.
And if this works, I'm going to clear it one more time, crank it back up to 3, and run it again.
Okay.
It feels something's wrong, and I don't like it. Done. Okay. So now let's, it did in fact write. Let's do that. Let's do that. And if I go into here and I hit refresh, I should see it here. Yep. Delete. Delete. Okay. Now if I come back over here and I go scaling and I say, by the way, I want 3 instances, and I save a new revision of this. I come over here and I'm going to just wait for that to deploy out properly. And then I'm going to kick it one more time because clearly the single instance works. And I really, really hope that this thing just worked flawlessly and I'm just making crap up.
Yeah. I do too. I don't know. You could very well be right.
I mean, it's also possible that my failing to properly clear got us into a bad state too.
Possible, but I would imagine if we took out the queue, the database, and the storage, there shouldn't be anything else to pick up on. It would cause issues.
Fair. Okay, so that's now deployed. Okay, so the one that just ran.
Let's before you run it. It's so quick. Run it. I was gonna say use a slightly bigger file, but
Yeah, like
Because we were seeing this thing, like I've got failed runs with this tiny file. Is the weird part,
yeah.
right? Like we saw this thing fail before. We can come over here. We can grab this. We can grab console log stream, and in theory, one of these guys should be queued up to do something. Finish successfully. Okay. Maybe my failure to clear everything properly is the root cause of all this. Okay, let's, because I'm wanting to go to bed, let's send this, let's just send it with now a proper,
Turn up to 10 and send it.
you've got a question on what your snack is. I'm going to go donuts.
Homemade pizza. And then because I'm a big fan of cheese, I take these little like Baybel, like, oh, you can't say it. Yep, there we go. It's gonna cover my face for you to see it. These little Baybel like wedges of cheese. You spread that on top of a cold piece of like homemade pizza. It's really good. Lots of cheese. What can I say?
For those people wanting their extra dairy.
You know it. So good.
Okay, I'll let this guy come up, and then I'm gonna queue up a new one. Run workflow, because this is gonna be blank. Okay, running at max. Looks like the Hungry Cow brand. I'll let this guy deprovision those 3 instances down and out. And then we will fire in the hole. And it should work. Okay, we're clear there. Clear there. Storage account shows clear. Database shows clear. Okay. It's a lot of moving pieces.
Fire in the hole.
A lot of moving pieces.
I mean, and really what we could have done and maybe should have done. But it's just like everything else. You never know how long or how many times you're going to have to do a task until you've done it and you get to the end and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to do that for the, billion and 1th time. We probably could have just scripted out clearing everything and it would have been real nice and, one click go and let it do its thing.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Well, and
we did not do that.
It could be that blowing through our limit on OpenAI is the trigger to get us into that state. Like it could be that level of load is what does it to us.
Well, then we also did a lot of like midway stops. So you would have had a message that's like off the queue, but the file's in a previous state because it hasn't been written back to after being picked up. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that we could have gotten ourselves in this weird state. I would love to at some point go through it and try to figure out what exactly it was, because it's an interesting like point for the stability of the system.
Yeah.
And reliability. Because we like the goal based on the documentation and like what I understand about the project is it should be really resilient. I mean, we've got both cached or queued tasks for it, and we've got hard storage for the state.
Okay, we started hitting unauthorized.
Which is just seemingly just the response if you hit your max token limit,
I'm gonna go with
your max art like RPS or TPS.
And the thing is we hit that and we'd only sent 80 files. But what do we get in here, right? I got 743 vectors in there so far. And it's still continuing to churn more in. Like now we're at 843, 889. Like it's 945.
Yeah, it's like 40 to yeah, it's like 40 to 80 per second or second and a half.
Yeah, my fear is that we've spammed our queue so much. Like I think based on the config, it's going into the poison queue based upon number of failed DQs. But you almost need like is there like a time back off? Right? Like that's what I'm wondering is perhaps our timing back off needs to be bigger.
Or is there a way to limit? There's total retries, max embedding batch size. There doesn't look to be anything for slowing that down.
Yeah.
To match a like a TPS or an RPS.
I mean, the other thing we could do though, right, is this generate embeddings handler. What we've seen is these things are fairly easy to derive from and extend. We could probably derive from this sucker and add in whatever we need. Kind of my thought.
That's true. Yeah, it'd be an interesting place to at least look. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about your Azure Bucks and or your GitHub minutes. It'd be interesting to see how long this actually runs and if it ever actually completes.
Yeah, well, I mean, GitHub is going to
hey,
it's going down, right?
It's gotten through 27 documents.
Yeah, so by the time it had finished posting them all, 27 were already done. And we'll see how many of these start to, like, they are slowly dropping off. Probably should have put a delay on this sucker so that it just wasn't ping, 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 but
Yeah.
Like they are working their way down. The only thing this doesn't tell me, well, I guess that they aren't getting into a failed state because we have a console output on failed, right?
Do we still? I wasn't sure if that got nixed by our transition of
if
the
failed
is complete.
Is true,
okay,
it'll fail to ingest document and it'll dump the document ID out. So it is getting completed documents, letting it go. So it seems to be recovering.
This last one's taking. Oh, there's another one. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And if we go to the container app, all 10 containers are still up and engaged.
Yeah. I mean, they're up. You have to bounce between each of them to see the thing, but they are clearly getting 401s. And this is where I'm wondering if once we hit that max request per minute thing, it's like our horizontal scale is no longer our limiting factor, right?
So we've scaled, no, absolutely.
Beyond what our Azure,
what our infrastructure can handle.
Yeah, because I'm willing to bet if we go here and we go here.
Oh yeah, we hit the limit before. We're definitely gonna have hit the limit again.
Yeah. So and then I go here, right, and then I check my embeddings one. Well, hold on, wasn't this quota thing? This one was
the quota's just.
This is where we saw this and went. Yep. Turns out running at 100% is 100%. Then you come
go to
here, here, right, and dial it down
Doop. Yep.
I wonder if Azure Monitor gives me better deployment numbers. Like metric. What do you think? Active tokens? No. That's wrong. Blocked calls.
Yeah.
Rate limit.
What region are we in with this again? Is it West US 3?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, West US 3.
West US 3. If you jump back to your
I'm just
AI Studio when you're done here.
sure. What do you want to look at?
Azure OpenAI Studio, it's your tab. Yep. There you go. Go to your quota again. And go to Azure OpenAI Provisioned up at the top next to standard. It's a tab. Yeah. Interesting. Wonder what the cost is.
One way.
Have you ever felt like reserving your own server, Kevin?
I mean, I always would love to reserve my own server. No eligible subscriptions. Oh, hold on.
All right, we're not.
Yeah, so I need to be in a. I
We are not special
need
enough.
either a special enterprise agreement or one of these offers on my pay-as-you-go subscription. Apparently. So would I
Interesting.
like to do that? Yes. Does my little
I
free
feel like
tier
this
account?
is just a we need to. Yeah, we just need to request more quota. I think that's our
Wow,
answer.
I like. Hold on.
It's halfway
We
through.
are like we're only 8 minutes in. Like we're eight.
But if we weren't hitting that limit,
We would have chugged through this.
we would. Oh yeah, we would have been done minutes ago, probably.
I think this might actually get us. Like I think a scale of 10 is way overkill. I think I would dial it down to like 2 or 3, knowing how far I can reasonably like. Because I have
without scaling the quota, yeah, absolutely.
Because I have like I want the maximum number of containers that will basically keep my quota pegged. Right?
Yeah.
And I think I could do that with a significantly smaller number of containers. I don't think we hit it. I don't think we hit it with one. I don't think one was enough because we tried a full run with this and we didn't quite see the same issue.
No.
And I think because it's that per minute limit.
Well, and it's also the per. Well, we may. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because before, when we didn't hit the limit, that was prior to us splitting up the requests being sent out and waiting out to the container. We hadn't made the is complete change.
Yeah. Trying to look at. Yeah, it's like we spiked, got rate limited, and then the library went, "Hey, let me dial that back for you."
Well, look at the timing though. That first spike is not this.
Oh, that's
spike.
a good point. 10:42.
Yeah. How did we hit so high? They weren't ready for us. We went way over the limit, and then they were like, "No, that's not happening again." Data out. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just playing with. Yeah, and let me dial this down to like last 30 minutes. There's a more interesting graph.
Much.
Because this was when we kicked it off.
And that actually makes sense because that's your 350.
Because
We hit the
we had 11
350 and
minutes
now
now.
we're tapering off.
Yeah, we're at 11 minutes now. So
Yeah.
this is roughly when we kicked it off. We got all the way up to here, and then it slowly starts falling off the backside.
It's interesting that it falls off on the backside. You'd think we'd stay pegged at 350.
I don't know. Depending on
mean-
how the things are written, like a lot of retry backoffs slowly go exponential,
Yeah.
right? Like I wouldn't be surprised
That's
to see
true.
it flatten out down here. But I'm like, if it's like poly with the standard retry backoff, it's usually increasing jumps. And
Yeah.
ideally with a jitter on it so that they all don't go together. So it tries to, it's like I want to back off, but I want to be jittery about it. That way it's not like it's a. It's important to make the sound
You make
effects.
Yeah, it actually adds a lot. You make an interesting point. I wonder what they're doing for retries.
I mean, because they're clearly
Because I
doing
hadn't
something.
thought it. I hadn't. Yeah, and I hadn't thought much about retries because my thoughts on retries were, my retry is go put it back on the queue, pick something else up, go again.
Right, but they've got a
But this would be at the request level instead of the task level or the step
possibly
level.
because
Yeah.
and they certainly do put things back on the queue and retry that way as well.
Yeah.
Because they have like this max retries.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering.
Well, and that's the retries that we were hitting before, the ones that just simply for the queue where it was bouncing
Right.
off, going to poison.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna chug through this whole thing. You figure 12 minutes in, we processed 137 documents,
Yeah.
right?
We got another like 5 minutes left. 4 minutes
Yeah,
left.
we may just do this.
I think we're gonna hit the end. And then what we should do with this last 50 that needs to be processed, because I think, let's be real, Kevin, you're not going to bed before this is
No, I
finished.
now want to see how it ends.
Exactly. So if it's going to end right, we need to do it with a big bang, which means we need to prep some kind of question of something really random that you would have talked about that we can get some information back from this.
Okay.
Do you have a question in mind?
I mean, I've got some thoughts of things
Okay.
that could be interesting.
Good.
I mean, we could ask the Uno versus Avalonia question.
Ooh,
because
okay.
that has come up. I've answered it 2 or 3 times on a stream.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
And now by
I
saying
like
it
it.
on this stream, I've now added a data point for the AI to find that will not actually answer the question. Like, I wonder how much I can poison my own
answer the
bot
question
with
well
by talking about the bot. Like, this is very Inception-y. How much can I poison my Kevin bot with Kevin talking about the bot?
This comes down to the purpose of re-ranking. So when we pull your embeddings, we could, if we want in the future, and if it made sense, it would be kind of fun just in general, but we could implement a re-ranker for determining whether or not the X number of embeddings or N number of embeddings that are pulled back, which of them is most relevant.
All right, apparently my postman was signed out. Bye. While I able to sign back in. Oh, it says your password was incorrect. Sign in successful. I don't understand. Make up your mind. Okay, so do I have a? I don't.
import.
I believe I left us a here Postman collection.
Yup. Beautiful.
That's what I did.
Past
Kevin has looked down fondly upon
Yeah,
us.
so we have this, right? And I've got we've got all of this. I'm trying to realize because I just imported this. I do the auth here.
Yep, and it's handled via the API key that you have set up under the environment.
Which is, but I don't have an environment. So
Is this a new computer?
no, but I had the Postman had like lost my auth, and so I had to re-log in and re-import the file. So I'm guessing that is the kicker.
Yep.
Create environment. I don't know. But I need that variable name, right?
Auth header key.
So no. Where the heck do I find it?
Back on the yeah.
There we go.
The authorization. There you go. Auth header
That's
key.
what I want, and I want to go here and new variable there, and then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna not dox myself because I have my API keys here.
And I think you need to remove those
Curly braces.
Curly braces. Yep. If I am not mistaken.
Make it look like that.
I believe so.
Perfect. And then I remember Control S, very important. Let's see. So here, I need to pick my environment so that I'm in the right one. And then I can go ask. Then I can go body. And then index becomes default. Question becomes what does Kevin recommend between Avalonia and Uno?
Before you press go
Oh,
on
no,
it.
it's not.
What's the other options we have in here?
Let's see. I was gonna kill them. So there's here. Let me make this bigger for you. Make this smaller. So what do I?
I'm really curious about what those filters are, but that's a thing for another time. And then we have min relevance, and that's all coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
Do 920 nullable true. What does it even mean?
It means 920 is nullable. I think this is something similar to what we had before. 35 documents.
We're so close. Although it's really stuck now. Are we gonna get screwed over by?
Well, it could be poison queue stuff, right? Like.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Is that we might have finally hit the
number of
the poisoning.
Yeah, which makes me
the number of retries.
I mean, let's go. We can go check.
Yeah.
Here, queues. Oh no, storage browser, queues, and we can do because this is going to be what gen embeddings.
Embeddings poison, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no one left in gen embeddings, and they're all in poison queue.
Does it? Oh, is there a way to move those easily? Probably not. To requeue them into the normal.
I mean,
queue.
I can do this. I can do this. I can go add message, paste.
Yeah, that's not a reasonable way to do it, though.
Right, and then okay. We'll see if I get a 30th in here. Because something took it basically instantaneously. Showing 0 of 1 items. Which means something probably has it on the DQ. I guess the question will be,
Does storage browser give you the ability to mess with queues? Or Storage Explorer?
a bit. What do you want to do? Peek?
Move all those messages back over to the queue.
Well, but you
Curious if
don't
you
want to
can do
take them
that on-
wholesale.
Right? Because they keep track of their the DQ count is a
Yeah, which is wait, the one you moved had 0
I
DQ.
changed
I thought it was going to be
changed
DQ.
it to 0.
Oh.
So I want to pull it and bring it over, but yeah.
Well, still, there might be a way in
See,
the storage browser
the other
to
thing
do
is there's
it.
only 29 here, and this guy claims 35, which makes me think that there is one of these other ones that is
Save records poison. Yeah.
Hey, how we doing?
Try
Bixby? Probably getting that a little wrong.
Yo.
Uh,
Try queuing one of the save records one. Because that one I wouldn't expect us to fail on. And see, those have a DQ of 0 on the side. I guess it's, yeah.
do the hard.
Yeah, change the DQ. You're right.
Yeah. And that's like picked up basically instantly.
And we don't have a 7th item.
Yeah, I suspect we could dodge this problem if we dialed down my number of containers, because I think what's happening is they're all pulling off, pounding, and then once I hit my rate limit, I've got 10 guys all in flight, which is bumping my DQ count up higher versus if there was only a couple of them DQing.
Though, on the other side of that, with how far we got, you probably only need to turn your retries up to, I don't know, 20 from 10 or 30 from 20, and you'd probably get through
That's
too.
a good point. You should bump those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before poison.
And then hit Storage Explorer. I want to see if there's a way to mess with queues in there.
I was pulling that up. I just have a lot of stuff that I am
Totally
inside
understand.
of here, so let's see, gen embeddings poison. You can easily re-queue a message into the same queue,
but not into a different one.
No, the best it gives you is a
that's too bad.
copy.
Yeah.
Drag and drop.
Copy with edit?
I mean, a copy, new message, paste is kind of the option that it gives me.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice little addition.
Hang on one second. I am dialing up all of my retries. The other thing is I think I'm going to cancel this run at this point because it's now stalled out. Because it doesn't handle the poison queue thing. I kind of want to go and look at what the status is on those when they come back, because there's got to be something different on the status that I'm just not checking for, and it would be nice to log those.
We should still be able to answer this question, I would imagine.
Oh, invalid URI. Base U.
You need a URL.
Yeah. Where were we setting that?
That would help.
Variables. Base URL.
Yeah.
And so I need to go grab my not